to Eddie on the search. Eddie's he's on calls, he's doing interviews, he's traveling. They have offered David Williams to talk about this, and he'll give you kind of an update of where they are. JJ, here I'm going to implore people somewhat the same way I did in regards to football. Everybody's got their guy, and everybody's got their guy who's not their guy, right? Everybody's got an opinion. You want this guy, he wants that guy, she wants that guy. Everybody's got their person. You're not all going to get your guy. Some of you will, maybe. Some of you won't. Absolutely. I would hope that you give the new person a chance. So, and I said you this during the football search. And it's kind of crazy. The football search was just over a year ago. I don't even remember who were the other names that we were talking about. It was Jay Hill from Weber State was the other big name, right? I say big name. The other name that happened a lot. I think you made the right choice, and I'm going to ask you, and like I ask you, like I'm going to ask you to consider, no matter who it is, give this person a chance. Eddie's doing a hell of a job vetting. I could tell you that. And there was a name that came up a lot yesterday, and it started with a call early in the show on Tim Miles, and Tim Miles' record is what Tim Miles' like. There's no yay or nay on that's the one fact of the whole thing, right? Was Tim Miles' record 187 and 202 in the last 12 years as a coach, 71 and 88 at Colorado State, 116 and 114 at Nebraska. Tim Miles is respected in the game. He might be the guy. I believe Tim Miles is a finalist for this job, and JJ, I think Tim Miles may. I'm not telling you will, but maybe the coach. Now, Eddie, I do believe wants to get this done next week, so you may have a new coach in here by next week. But is that fair, JJ, to say, or is it not? I mean, is it, it's my guy or I'm going to be pissed? Because I know there's been a lot of boosters, and this is a passionate fan base. Everybody's got their guy. If you don't, my guy, I'm done with the program. And I don't think that's the right way. If you love the program, then support the program. You can give your suggestions. You can give your 2 cents. You can write your check or not write your check. But ultimately, Eddie's tasked with this, and I like to think sometimes you and we know a little bit more about this than some, but we don't know more about it than Eddie, who's doing his due diligence in talking not just to the people they want you to talk to, but people that maybe they don't want you to talk to. And so that's where I am on this as we go through it, and I think we're getting closer.
Anytime you have a coaching search, the majority's not going to be happy unless it kind of comes around and it's that alumni hire that catches a lot of people. Like what we saw with Danny Gonzalez, but most times than not, there's going to be a lot of factions that, as you said, laid out, don't feel good because they didn't get the guy they thought should be the hire, the name that they wanted. So there's work to be done, and ultimately it comes, can you put together a good basketball team? Regardless of what people think you are, you got a lot of work to do to get this team to a competitive level, because it is that season. It's the end of the year for a lot of teams, and whether we're talking about Boise State or UNLV, no one feels good enough when it's all said and done. So you got to constantly do work, and especially at UNM, you got to revive the fan base. People care. People want to be invested in the new coach. While he might not win the press conference, if it's not one of the guys that a lot of the people are leaning to, he's going to have the opportunity to win the people back with the type of program that he built. And when you hear Eddie talk about next week, then I think that does change the landscape, and people start realizing, well, maybe it's not going to be a mid-major coach on a good basketball team that happens to still be playing. Maybe it's not going to be a coach that you think, might be at the end one of those bigger names. So you start looking at, who could it be, and it's, Tim Miles does rise to the top because he's a guy that's not handcuffed by still coaching a basketball team right now.
Yeah, it's not like it's never happened now. I don't think it eliminates anybody who's still playing, because it's not like it's never happened that a coach has been named a coach of another program before the season ends. It's less frequent, certainly more recently, but I mean, you think of how Steve Fisher won a national championship in Michigan. It's because Bill Frieder took the Arizona State job, and Bo Schembechler said, well, then get out of here. I'm going to have a Michigan man coach Michigan. It happens in Bulls all the time, which is certainly very different. But Yeah, I think that. I think that it's probably going to be somebody with collegiate head coaching experience, running a program at the NCAA level, knowing the ins and outs of today's NCAA, the intricacies that come with that, and so there's a lot of alumni that people are really fired up about that probably don't fit that criteria, right? That have coached men's basketball at the Division I level, and have been a head coach. And there's been three alumni names that have been very prominent: Michael Cooper, Kenny Thomas, and well, Cody Topper's not even an alumni. He's an Albuquerque guy, went to Albuquerque Academy, but an Albuquerque guy. I think that it's probably going to go a different way. And now I think there's positives to all three of those guys, big positives to all three of those guys. But my gut tells me that it's going to be a coach. Now, the Frank Martin thing has come up. JJ, unless Frank Martin gets fired, I think he's got to be off the list. I just don't see any way that there's a buyout, there's a deal. I think Frank Martin's a viable name, and I think Frank Martin excites some people. But unless there's a break and a break soon at South Carolina, I just don't see how that's viable.
Yeah, when we're talking, say, Frank Martin, Archie Miller, Richie Pitino, these are guys that would have to be let go to be in the conversation. That's the only way they'd be in the running to be the next head coach in Mexico, is if they were let go at that one of their programs, because the Lobos aren't getting into the buyout market to that level.
There's just no way. There's just no way. Now, if you're talking about where is all that and how does that play? We'll get into buyouts and we'll get into that stuff. But David Williams is going to join us coming up at what did I tell you? 8:00 this morning. 8:00, and we'll have a conversation. All right. When we get back, I'm going to open up the phones to you at 505-246-0610. That's 505-246-0610. Emails Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com, JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. Twitter, follow JJ. It's _JJ Buck. And on the Facebook, the OD and the AM, you can watch the show there. J-Poll is producing for ProView Networks today. When we get back, I'm going to get through the scores in the Mountain West Conference yesterday and throughout the country. But first, a big name quarterback has signed this morning with a big-name franchise in the National Football League. I will tell you who and where and for how long. That is next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
You've heard Rich Eisen on the radio.
Named quarterback signing this morning. It's the opening drive. Jeff and JJ. Cam Newton is going to spend another year in New England. They announced, well, it wasn't announced. Adam Schefter announced it. So is Adam Schefter better than a press release? Probably. Cam Newton's going to sign a one-year deal in New England. Now, that does not mean New England cannot go out and get another quarterback. The terms are not out yet. Remember last year he was super cheap at like $1 million. I got to believe it's going to be a little bit more than that, and Cam's going to have the opportunity to compete. It feels like that's the Patriots saying, all right, at least we got something, right? Worst case scenario, we got Cam. We get him through a full season. We think they saw enough out of Cam that they feel that he can be operable. I'm not sure that you and I did, but we're not in there every day. Obviously, Belichick saw something that he feels that it's worth bringing back, and whether he's going to be the starting quarterback or not, this certainly does not guarantee that.
No, this is 100%. We don't want to be left with nothing at the quarterback position. The rest of the free agent market is Ryan Fitzpatrick or Jameis Winston. And you're like, well, I don't think Cam Newton is a high-level starting quarterback anymore, but he's someone that's been in the building for a year. They'll have a regular offseason. They have an offense that's catered to him at this point in time. And also they're in no man's land when it comes to drafting a quarterback. There's potentially, we see 5 quarterbacks go in the top 10. So unless you're willing to make a move, we know that they're not going to be in the market for, say, Deshaun Watson. They're not going to be throwing a bunch of picks at the Houston Texans. Are they going to move up for a quarterback at this point in time? I think the most intriguing thing for New England is if Mac Jones slides in the draft and then he gets picked in the middle of the first round. But it feels like there's going to be a run on those guys in the top 10. So this is absolutely all right. 1 year, we don't want to be left out to dry. There's enough there with Cam that we're comfortable bringing him back, and let's do it.
I think that's exactly right. And so that's where Cam Newton will be. So that's your breaking NFL stuff this morning. All right, again, Aggies win last night, 77-61. They'll play Utah Valley today in the semifinals of the WAC tournament that's tonight in WAC Vegas. Mountain West yesterday. Boy, San Diego State got a scare in the first game. Wyoming was with them. Wyoming could shoot. Look, Wyoming, if they keep that group together, what Jeff Linder's doing up there, I was thinking of this yesterday. If the Lobos if the Lobos hire a coach from, let's say, I don't know, northern Colorado, and his name is Jeff Linder, and you never heard of him, you'd go, what the hell are they doing, right? In 1 year, what Jeff Linder's done up there is tangible, would you say?
I'm just wondering what water did they bring with them from Laramie to Vegas, because the men's and women's team played unbelievable. Of course, the women won the tournament, and then what we saw out of the men, the three-point shooting, to your point, this squad that we weren't sure what the heck they were going to be, but in the end, they're in a one-possession game. Last-second shot in the air to tie it, to send it to overtime. A tremendous performance, and all of a sudden, folks in Laramie are going, watch out, because we're coming.
Yeah, if they keep that together, they've got something pretty nice brewing up there. And I don't think it was about the last possession. I think it was the possession before it where they had 3 shots at it. An offensive rebound, ball went out of bounds. I mean, they had 3 shots, and they didn't get it done. It was a 1-point game at that point. Then they fouled Matt Mitchell, who hit 2 free throws. So the Aztecs survived 69-66. They will play Nevada tonight. I told you yesterday. I told you. I was on an Aztec thread yesterday that we don't want Boise again. I said, you're not getting Boise again. You better be more worried about getting Alford and Noodles and those guards, because Nevada's going to beat Boise State, and they did, 89-82. I think Alford's record against Leon Rice, I believe, is 1-9. And I just said, look, first of all, Nevada's playing better. They're at full strength. Their guards are better. Guards win this time of year. I absolutely trust Alford and Noodles more than I trust Leon Rice in March. And everything about that was true. I don't know how much you watched that game. There were key situations late in the game. There was one particular one where they came out of a timeout, drew up a play. Sherfield fed Washington for a dunk. And I looked over at the bench. Noodles stood up, and there's assistant coaches going over to Noodles, and Craig called the plays out of the huddle twice. And that's what Steve and Craig have done for years, right? Craig's a good X and O coach. And whether you hate him or whether you like him, you're looking over there, and you can see that look on Craig's face, and the other assistant coaches are giving him, going over and slapping him on the back because he called these plays that weren't coming out. Whether you hate him or you love those guys, Alfred and Craig have something going there. That team can beat San Diego State tonight. I don't think they will, but like if you're going to ask me to pick a winner, I'll pick the Aztecs. But they can win this damn tournament.
No doubt. They have two go-to guards. You give a coach like Steve Alford and his staff two go-to players, and then the ability to put the pieces around him. Cambridge and Sherfield are legit, and Cambridge was kind of the guy early that took over, and then Sherfield just skyrocketed this season, and so we've been talking about Grant Sherfield. Now, Cambridge is just as good a scorer, and that's what the transfer market can do. They landed those two guys in the offseason because they weren't quite, in terms of recruiting, at the point where they got a lot of guys in the program, they're developing them, so they needed, hey, we need impact players right now. They landed both those guys, and look where they are. They're in the semifinals of the Mountain West Tournament, and I'm right there with you. Don't count out Steve Alford with scores like that in his backcourt. Now you flip it to Boise State. Who are you going to blame for this one? Can't blame the Mountain West Conference.
He'll blame someone.
Can't point fingers at a team that didn't have a home and wasn't practicing, so couldn't play at that moment in time. Who are you going to blame? Leon Rice. And I saw it yesterday. By the way, Boise State fans are upset, as they should
about
be.
What?
It was a terrible, and you can't lose to Fresno State like they did. And how about showing up and winning some games when your season's on the line? And they didn't. But one of the most ridiculous things I saw, and it was from a Boise State beat writer, was the challenge that this season was travel-wise, and Boise State had to fly commercial, and they missed a couple practice days. Get the bleep out of here with that nonsense. Like, that was your challenging thing? You missed a couple practice days switching a flight in Denver, and that is going to be the difference? No, it's you bleeped it all up and in the season when it was on the line for you. You had to beat Fresno State, couldn't do it. You needed to make a run in Vegas, couldn't do it. Had nothing to do with what plane you took, because there's a bunch of teams out there, Lobos, that had a lot more difficulties than maybe missing one practice day.
Maybe it'll be better for them when they're in the Big West, right? When they're playing Cal State Northridge and Cal State Fullerton and UC Riverside. Maybe it'll be better for them when they're playing in those gyms, and they get a nonstop to Orange County, and they can play in the Honda Center in the Big West tournament. Everybody had it tough. Everybody missed flights and missed practices. With all due respect, and I'm not sure how much is due, they whine more than anybody I've ever seen about everything coming out of Boise State. It's their football program, they're better than this league, and well, they didn't win this league. They lost. You know who they lost to? You want me to remind you who they lost to? Who won this league?
Please do.
San Jose State beat them quite handily in the conference championship game. They urinated down their leg down the stretch. Sorry, they did. To your point, they should have beat Fresno State. And then they had an opportunity in a 4-5 game, and they lost to Nevada. They lost these games. They lost down the stretch. They lost. Did they lose 4 in a row? 2 to San Diego State, lost to Fresno State, and then this game, right? They're right on the bubble. I think they're be an NIT. I think they're a number 1 seed in the NIT.
They are not an NCAA tournament team, and that's the frustrating thing. Is this conference can be very good. UNLV sitting there already done with TJ Otzelberger. I saw that going on yesterday. They feel like they should be in a power conference as well because you have a college in Las Vegas, so that should mean that
because they become a major league
team.
city now, right? Because they've got the Raiders and the hockey, and so they're a major league city now. Yeah.
So that means they should automatically somehow be in the Pac-12. It's like this league could be really good. This league can be a factor in collegiate athletics. But if these fan bases can ever just think about, how can we push our schools to be good in the conference as opposed to thinking you're always so much better than this, then you're going to have a lot of situations like this. You're not maximizing what's in front of you. You're just always thinking you're that much better than everyone else. And guess what? You ain't, because what have you done for me lately?
It's a great point. It's actually a fantastic point because every fan base, and I think every administration in this league thinks that they're better than this league. Everyone, and including New Mexico, and including every one of them. And San Diego State wants out, and their people are pissed off, and they always get screwed. And Boise State, they want out, and they think they're better in this league, and they think they always get screwed. And every Colorado State thinks have you seen our stadium? We should be out. We always get screwed. They all think they're getting screwed. They all do. And the reality is they're not. They just aren't getting the break every time. UNLV's no different. Your point's really good that this league could be and I think in a lot of respects they are as good as the American. But they could, if people just realize they make this league good. The whining out of Boise State. Look, Leon Rice has created a program where there never was one. I'll give him that. Have they peaked? I mean, this was supposed to be their best team, right? Derek Olson's an NBA player. Like, was this their year? Because how are they getting better next year?
Yeah, this is really what Leon Rice has done, is shown some consistency, and that's been huge because that program didn't have anything, and they went through a stretch where they had the Aussie guy in the backcourt and the other player, and I'm just blanking on both of their names, and they were competing.
Yeah, I see that.
And you're sitting there going, man, what's it going to be like? And they built off that, and they've had consistent programs over the last few years. And to your point, this was that next run, that peak. I don't think they peaked. I think we're seeing recruiting-wise and player-wise that they're still going to be a team that's going to be in contention. But there's no one to be upset about other than yourself in this situation.
Really? So their beat writer complained that they missed a flight and missed a couple days of practice and how hard their team had it. Everybody had it tough.
Yes.
Ask Duke. They just had to back out of their tournament because of COVID. They didn't play any non-conference games.
And
ask New Mexico.
There's more breaking news when it comes to the ACC tournament.
All right, we'll get that as soon as we come back, and it's actually probably fairly significant. I want to tell you about Coleman Vision because I've been telling people about it. 2003 was when I had my LASIK done, and I still swear by it. And it still, it's changed my life still to this day. I had astigmatism. Pretty high degree of astigmatism, and I couldn't see far. I was really struggling with it, and glasses and everything else. So I went to see Dr. Coleman. I had the LASIK done at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, opened my eyes probably by, 2:30, whatever the time was. And the second I opened my eyes, I saw the difference. And I anchored the news the next morning on Channel 13 at 5 o'clock in the morning. With no glasses, with no lenses, and I have not worn lenses since. I wear reading glasses. That's natural as you get older, but no. It's still to this day. It still is significantly different. I still see the difference. Dr. Coleman leads the way in this. Look, the people come from all over the world because they know how good he is, and they get their LASIK done at Coleman Vision. They know his reputation, that he's been in private practice specializing in LASIK his entire career. Who gets LASIK from Dr. Coleman? Everybody. Athletes, professionals, bankers, housewives, everybody does. They want a lifestyle without glasses or contacts, and of course, athletes who find glasses and contacts interfere with their training and competitions. You're going to love this, and it's going to change your life. If you think you're a candidate and you're thinking about LASIK, there is nowhere else to go but Coleman Vision. Go to colemanvision.com or visit their website, see what's there. You can call them 505-821-8880. That's 505-821-8880.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not.
It was the late games in the Mountain West last night. Utah State and Colorado State both handled their business. So they're going to play each other tonight, and we're going to see. I mean, maybe that's a winners in, losers out game. But I think as far as the league getting two teams in, I think San Diego State's in. Don't you, JJ? I just don't. I mean, they're on the 8 or 9 line, depending on which bracketologist you listen to. If they lose to Nevada, it's not a horrible loss, not a good loss. But it's not one that I think knocks them out. They've won 12 in a row. They won their. I think their net ranking's 20 something. I think they're in, and if somebody else wins, then you absolutely get 2. Mm-hmm. But I think the winner of the CSU Utah State game is obviously going to get to the championship game. I think they're in 2. Now the way to get 3 would be Nevada win the thing.
So here's one.
Yeah.
It would not be the worst thing for San Diego State to lose this game, because you know where I don't want to be. I don't want to be on the 8-9 line.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to be playing the number 1
10.
seed second game out.
No, I'd rather be a 10 too. I'd rather be a 10 seed as well.
Because I don't necessarily think there's enough for them to move up to 7. If Jerry thinks that's where he has them right now in his updated bracket. He has them as a 9 seed. So winning the tournament, I don't think they can jump that many teams to get up to a 7. So if you go out there, play a tough game, lose to Nevada, fall down to a 10, I think you're feeling actually pretty good.
I don't argue with you. As a fan of a team, you always want to win. You want to win championships, and you want to cut down nets, and you want to raise banners. I won't be devastated, if they lose tonight, because I think they're comfortably in. But as the league where do you think the loser of the Utah State Colorado State game's out tonight?
I do, especially with how low Utah State has been. They've been like the last team in the last 4 out or first 4 out categories for the last couple weeks. Now Colorado State seems to be in a better position, as Jerry has them in the bracket as an 11, so not in the first 4, so they're a little bit higher than that. But yeah, Utah State, this is definitely, they lose, they're not going to the NCAA tournament.
I think that's right. All right, 505-246-0610 if you want to get in. You said you had breaking news out of the SEC tournament.
ACC tournament.
ACC tournament.
Yes. The number 1 seed Virginia Cavaliers are out of the tournament. So they had a positive COVID test arise, and so Georgia Tech will advance to the ACC title game. And these are the challenges that we knew were going to happen, and this is the difference. When a positive test is shutting down an entire program, once you get to that bracket, and once you get past that initial window, the first, I think, like 48 hours or days leading up to it, where you don't have the ability to substitute teams, then this is what's going to happen, because we're not seeing collegiate sports at the level of they just take out the player, test everyone, and move on. It is positive test, it shuts everything down. This is running through the ACC tournament, and you just hope we don't see it happen in the big bracket, but it's going to.
Yeah, I think it's going to. And the NCAA put out kind of what their protocols are going to be. They'll replace the team within 48 hours of a tournament starting. So there could be a team, hell, Utah State could be that team, or Colorado State could be that team, or Boise State could be that team that is first 4 out. and doesn't get in on Sunday, but by Tuesday gets a call, hey, you're now a 6 seed because you got to go replace an ACC team that just had a positive test. So that's all possible. All right, a couple other things around the country that pertain maybe to what you're thinking in regards to the UNM coaching job. And David Williams is going to be with us at 8 o'clock, the Deputy Athletic Director at the University of New Mexico, and we're going to go over the latest on the search. He's going to give you a bit of an update on the coaching search. The Lobos could have a coach in place as soon as next week. And I think that list is getting narrowed and narrowed and narrowed. Minnesota got beat in the Big Ten championships in their tournament 79-75. They lost to Ohio State. They played Ohio State well. Minnesota's season ends at 14-15. Is Richard Pitino out? He was asked after the game, quote, "It's not my decision. We all have bosses. I do have a great relationship with Mark. Mark Coyle's the athletic director." He continued, quote, "If he gives me some bad news, that doesn't mean I'm going to flip a desk or something. Life goes on. Would I love to be back? Of course, I'd love to be back. Not my decision." Sounds like Paul Weir. 3 weeks ago, right? 4 weeks ago, doesn't it?
It does.
I don't know what they're going to do there. Brian Dutcher's name, like if you like Mountain West basketball, if you like Brian Dutcher staying at San Diego State, you're hoping that Richard Pitino stays, right? Because Brian Dutcher's name is going to be at the top of that list, and then what happens at San Diego State, and does that house of cards come down? And I don't know that it does or does not. The other one is Frank Martin. Ole Miss beat South Carolina and Frank Martin 76-59. South Carolina ended their season 6-15. And this is a guy, I don't know how much leeway going to a Final Four buys you. It buys you a few years, but at some point, that credit card is maxed out, right? It's kind of like Doug Martin. How many years can you live on? I'm the only coach to take New Mexico State to a bowl game, right? I mean, how long does it go? What's your gut at South Carolina?
They feel like a school that they're not going to be hesitant to make a move. They fired their football coach
right
4 games into the season of a season that we didn't know there was going to be a lot of movement. We figured teams might actually, coming off of a very quiet year last year, might take some time to see how it plays out. They're like, nope, we're done, we're moving on. And I'm sure that they can pull that SEC money from somewhere if they are done with their basketball coach to make that decision.
So Frank Martin is interesting in a lot of respects around here because he's had such success at Kansas State and did take South Carolina to the Final Four. He Eddie Nunez played for him in high school. I think a lot of you would be very, very happy with the Frank Martin hire. Does Frank Martin find himself a higher profile, a higher paying job, a bigger, and I put it in quotes, a bigger job? Or I think he would come here. I do. I think he would come here. I don't know if it gets done by next week. Would he search and see if there's something better? The only way that happens is if he gets let go. There's no buyout money there. I mean, that's a huge buyout.
Yes, and a lot of, like I said, a few of these names that we're talking about, there'd have to be situations where the coach is fired for the Lobos to be in the conversation, because they're not going to go take a coach from a power conference school that hasn't been fired, because that buyout is going to be hefty.
Yeah. All right. I want to talk about that. I'll get some of your emails in, and again, we're gonna get an update on the coaching hire situation, the search from David Williams, the Deputy Athletic Director at the University of New Mexico. That's coming up at 8 o'clock, and so you'll get into that. I also want to did you watch any of the players yesterday? Did you watch any golf?
I got a little bit of it, and that course was eating some dudes up.
Dude, it was amazing. It was the conditions were perfect. 72 degrees and no wind. And, I mean, 17 is one of those holes that everybody loves to watch. It's the island green. Balls were going in the water with such regularity, it was insane. And then there was DeChambeau blowing the course up and hitting the ball 18 miles. But I watched exclusively that until 1 o'clock and then flipped back and forth. But big names, and we'll get into that as well. But David Williams at the top of the hour. We'll get into the Lobo coaching search. More college basketball upsets, man. UCLA goes down yesterday. The Virginia-Syracuse ending was insane, and now Virginia has been ended as well, so we'll get into all of that. You trusted your home and your business security to a local company. With an armed response, you felt pretty good about it, and then they sell out. You have now been selected. Your security is on the brink of being bought out by a national corporate giant, and that is not what you signed up for. It's not what you have to have. International Protective Service is local. They are invested in this community, and more than that, they are the best. Let Aaron and his team of armed security officers, trained security officers, protect what's important to you. They've watched my home for years. IPS rolls up and down my street every single day. They park in front of my house. If you go on vacation, this is what happens for me. They pick up, if I ask them to, they mail the newspaper, they roll up the garbage cans on garbage day, roll them back to where they go. They do exterior checks. Look, you know property crime is on the rise. It's in the news every day. You're probably, you have been a victim, you're 1 or 2 degrees separated from it. Don't wait until something bad happens. IPS isn't for sale. They're invested in this community. They care about your home and your business security like it's their own. Let the highly trained armed guards or 24-hour patrol of IPS protect what's yours. Don't wait until it's too late. Call IPS at 505-897-2420. That's 505-897-2420, or visit them at ipsglobal.com.
Last night's sleep interrupt.
Dribble, spin cycle, up and under move. What a pass. Wrap around pass.
Harris with Gates. The long bomb, 3 ball.
Oh, great steal by Quinteros. Lays it up and scores.
The whole little jump step in the... And look out, here comes Agbayosi. Crawford set. That's blocked. Lansing says, get that out of here. Sister to sister, Marianne Lansing's going to go all the way. Turnaround. Ramos, pump fake, everyone bites. Ramos hits. Jackson loses it. David Bond back, LAU, put it down. Dunkalicious, how about it?
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Ramos, rise and fire, he's fouled.
You know, he used to coach for Del Norte. And
Here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the... Behind the back of the dribble. Tries to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And hot it, sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. DC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku! Oh! Working against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move. DJ Bustos brings it up. Barnes Tompkins, alley-oop. How about it? That was redunculous. Turnover. Cable to the big fella might try to jam one home.
Let's get a little closer. Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass. Here's what he'll just shoot it. He's going to go all the way. He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much. Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism.
Hey, Clark takes the inbound pass. He's on the left wing. We'll give it now to Hauser. 5 seconds left. Hauser passes to Clark. Clark feeds it off. Here's a three-pointer from Beekman for the win, and he hits it! The freshman, his first points in the game, and they come through as the winner at the horn. 72-69. The Cavaliers have struck again here in the ACC tournament.
Virginia radio, they knocked out Syracuse in the ACC tournament on that buzzer beater. And then this morning, Virginia announced that they're out of the ACC tournament as well. The second team in that tournament, Duke also, the second team the day after a win, they are out of the tournament. And so Georgia Tech will advance on a no contest. Opening drive, Jeff Siembieda and J.J. Buck. J.J. was just listening to some of the Frank Martin stuff. And it was looking at reading some of the stuff in the state, the newspaper down in Columbia. He's going to meet with the athletic director when their season's over, which their season is now over. He said, "This is where I want to be. I love it here. Don't just judge me on this season." He said, "I've been coaching 36 years. Much more than most of you guys have been alive in this room, right?" He said, "I've been doing this 36 years, and I've been doing it for 8 years here, 9 years here. Just look at the other 9 years of what we've done. And if you want to just judge me on a COVID year, I guess you can do that. But that's what he's saying. He's going to meet. He wants to be there. If they let him go, now look, there's a lot of money in the SEC. JJ, South Carolina moved on from their football coach. They fired Will Muschamp in the fall. They paid him a lot of money to go away. They would owe Frank Martin $6.5 million in a buyout if they fired him per his contract. He's got 2 years left on his deal, makes roughly $3 million a year. They extended him twice. They gave him a 4-year extension in 2016, added an additional year to his contract after that Final Four run in 2017. He's 153 and 133, 6 straight seasons, finishing 500 or better in the SEC. That's the longest stretch for that program since 1970s. He's done a hell of a job there. My gut tells me they're going to hold on to him for another year, but I don't know why I think that. But I got to believe they're going to make that decision here in the next day or two, right? And then Eddie will know whether this is something feasible here in the next couple of days.
Yeah, and it's not just a COVID season. If you look at South Carolina, the last 3 years, they're 17 and 16, 16 and 16, 18 and 13 overall, and that factors into it with this season. It's not just the challenges of this year, it's kind of what happened before. It's the same thing that happened with Paul Ware. It wasn't just how difficult this year was, it was kind of like, where have you been, and thus, where are you going? And I think it's the same conversation South Carolina would have.
Well, the other thing is, he had COVID. And he talked about January 18th, whatever the day was. He said, I went home and I fell asleep on the couch at 6:30. He says, I had no energy. The COVID the COVID beat him up pretty much for a while. Now, does that affect your performance? I got to believe it does. I mean, I don't know. I didn't have it, thank goodness. But I got to believe. I watched. I watched Audra the other day after her second shot, and how much it beat her up just having that. You hear how it beats guys. Like, it's got to affect your performance, doesn't it? We talked about Cam Newton. Is that part of why he didn't play well? So I don't know. It's not your decision to make until it's your decision to make, and right now it's in South Carolina's court. Bruin James, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Not a good day for you, my friend. What's happening?
Yeah, I'm not really disappointed because I know that we got a lot of young guys on the team. Man, we could have played a little bit better, but things happened. We got into overtime. Like I said, we're young. A lot of things happen. I still feel that we're gonna go dancing, but I don't think we'll go very far. But hey, man, usually I'm really pissed, and usually I am, but now I haven't because I know we're young. So, all right, bro, have a good one.
See you. Pac-12 tournament yesterday, JJ. Cal got beat by good games. Too bad you can't watch them unless you have the Pac-12 network, which just bums me out. Colorado 61-58 over Cal. USC 91-85 over Utah. Oregon State and Wayne Tinkle beat UCLA 83-79 in overtime. And Oregon beat Arizona State. Arizona State's disappointing this year, man. Is he in trouble? Bobby Hurley? The final score there was 91-73. I mean, I don't know what you judge on a COVID year, but, boy, that's a disappointing year for them.
I don't think Bobby's in trouble.
Okay.
Yet. Not on the hot seat.
All right. Semifinal, Pac-12 today. God, it's so weird to think this is Friday of conference tournament week, and for the last 12 years, I've been there, right? I've been doing this damn show from the Thomas and Mack today, and going back and taking a nap and saying, when am I going to the Pac-12? What time am I going to the Mountain West? We've got to go over to go see the Aggies play tonight. Semifinals, Oregon State is your first one, and that's on the Pac-12 network. ESPN will have the second one, USC and Colorado. It's your Pac-12 semifinals. All right, we're going to talk about the Lobo coaching search when we get back. David Williams is the Deputy Athletic Director at the University of New Mexico, the number 2 man to Eddie Nunez. And he'll give you an update on what's going on, and you can, specifically, some of the stuff we talked about yesterday, and just kind of what they're looking for and what they're not. Just give you an update on the search. That's coming up next. You can watch the show on ProView Networks. J. Pole is going to be doing that. It's going to be cold, J. Pole, when you go out there tomorrow. Got a lot of outdoor cold stuff for J. Pole. It's good. Mike has produced on the radio side. Give him a call at 505-246-0610. It's the opening drive at 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Let's get a little closer. Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass. Here's what he'll just shoot it. He's going to go all the way. He's going to fire at the buzzer, and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much. Tie in the district. Inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism. And then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds. And look at this. Stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Said that any better. He answered the question.
On got another one at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
To the paint. Medina from the volleyball lines. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish.
one-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we can see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Moreno extra pass, and Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos was handling.
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji! Into Watson with the jam!
By Davina Lovato, and here comes Agbayosi, lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming.
Yes, boy, it was a hot topic on this program yesterday. The UNM coaching hire, the search that is going on for the men's basketball program, and there's a lot of names out there. And what's real, what's not. And Eddie said off the top, he says, if you don't hear from me, he's not a candidate. You've heard people on this show. I mean, Michael Cooper came on, and we've talked to Kenny Thomas a bit, and there's been a lot of alumni names. I think you may, and not guaranteed, you may have an answer by the end of, by next week. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda and J.J. Buck. Eddie, and I spoke with Eddie yesterday. He's busy this morning with interviews and travel and conversations and phone calls and that kind of stuff. But we do want to get you an update really from the horse's mouth, so to speak, on where they are. And David Williams is the deputy athletic director at the University of New Mexico, the number 2 man of that athletic department, and certainly intimately tied in with the coaching search. He joins us this morning on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. I'm going to guess you can't wait till this is over, so maybe you can finally get back out on the golf course and work on that great golf game of yours, no?
No, Jeff. First of all, my golf.
So you've been playing?
A lot of work, not just a little bit. And I've been called a lot worse in the horse's mouth before, so I'm not going to take offense to that.
Yeah, I didn't call you the horse's mouth. I called the whole process the horse's mouth. But all right, so
actually, Eddie would be the horse, and I'd be the mouth in this case. So
yeah, I guess that's right.
Hey, before we start, can I just say that I hope that people of Albuquerque, New Mexico, really understand how good they have it with the media that are in this town, and obviously with the job you do, Jeff, and the journal and the TV stations and everybody else. It's one of the things we sell to the candidates when we're talking about these types of jobs. And one of the great positives about the University of New Mexico Athletic Department is the amount of media coverage we have. And so thank you for the job that you and everyone does. And then secondly, real quick, JJ, great job this year, man, as the women's play-by-play. I think you improved the entire year that you did it, and I'm proud and hope you enjoy the NCAA tournament. It must be you, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, and it definitely was unique, but this team made it easy because they were so much fun to watch.
So what do you know about the NCAA tournament? You just said enjoy the NCAA tournament. What do you know about that?
I guess I did put the cart before the horse, didn't I? So on Monday we'll find out our what happens. You know, if you look at the prognostications, the projections, we don't know. We're really on the bubble. ESPN has asked us to be on their show, and so it's going to be one of those things where you either see us in great disappointment or you're going to see us in great joy. And so I'd say it's 50-50, and hopefully we come on the right side of the coin flip.
All right. Well, that's interesting, JJ. Stand by. That's good. All right, Dave, the men's basketball hire, look, this is the highest profile athletic program thing, period, in this state. You know that. You've been here long enough. You're a basketball guy. I spoke with Eddie for a bit yesterday. What can you do just kind of as an initial comment to let people know and update the status on where you are with the search?
Sure. Well, first of all, I hope nobody takes anything I say to try to justify a candidate that we're going to hire. That's not certainly what we are. We're not to the point where we know who we're going to hire. And so we're certainly not trying to justify the background of everybody that we're going to hire, and so please don't take it that way. Secondly, we don't want to talk about any specific dates, but we'll certainly talk about the process and where we are and the timeline and any other questions you may have with those parameters. And so where we are, you know, when this originally happened and the decision and came to the conclusion that we're going to do a search, you know, obviously there was a short list of names that just made sense, right? And so you had, I don't know, small handful of names that made sense for this position. But then what you do is you expand that list, and we expanded it through research. The internet's unbelievable for these types of processes, and we researched every conference in Division I and every conference in Division II, and looked through all the coaches that might be out there. We took phone calls. We made phone calls, and the list got much, much bigger. And then what we do with that big list is work it back down based on continued research, continued phone calls, and the criteria that Eddie Nunez has set of what we are looking for. And so we're at the point now where we have researched. So I listen to your show as much as I can, and I can tell you this: every single name that I've heard on your show, we have looked into. Every one. I have not heard any name where I'm like, oh, we may want to look into that person. And so we've researched those people, and based on criteria, we are now at a point where we have a small group of people that we are going to get in front of face to face and try to make a decision as to who the best fit is for Lobo basketball.
David Williams is the Deputy Athletic Director at the University of New Mexico. He's with us on the opening drive.
David, I know a lot of people are familiar with the NFL coaching process when you discuss coaches that are in the playoffs and they're being interviewed by other teams. Is that similar to collegiate athletics when you approach university, you ask permission to talk to a head coach if they're under contract at this point in time?
So some of it is collegiality and making sure that you have those conversations. But we also have the conversations with agents as well, so that we can make sure that is kosher to move forward with somebody. But the process that we really try to respect is whether they are still playing or not. And obviously we were trying to be real respectful of our season before it ended as well, and not trying to have the search become the story while those student athletes and coaches were still trying to compete. And that's certainly, as we talk to candidates, if they are still playing, if they're still in their conference tournament, then we are trying to be respectful, because that's their number one job, is the job they're in, not possibly the job they're trying to get.
You know, Dave, you mentioned to the internet. I wonder, what is it like trying to keep track of contracts and buyouts and who is owed what? What does that folder look like these days?
So there is actually a paid subscription program, software program out there that we subscribe to that gives us all that information. And so it's actually pretty easy. So I'm able to pick a coach, and that subscription, that software program has already done all the research for us, and we're able to pull up, the league I came from, the Summit League. We're able to pull up the Summit League head coaches. We're able to pull up their current salary, their current buyout, their current assistant coach salary pool, their record of where every place they've been. They've already have their contracts right there for us. So all we have to do is click on it and read their contract right there. And so it's made it a lot easier. There's still a ton of research, and that's actually one of the things Eddie first tasked me to do is go through that program, go through the conference, find every conference leader, every person and go through that information, who is a legitimate candidate and who's someone we need to do more research on.
You're on mute, Jeff.
Dave, how much of the short list depends on what happens at other places in the next few days, whether it be, South Carolina, Minnesota, Indiana, knowing that you can't get into the buyout realm, especially at those numbers? How much of your short list is going to depend on what happens with their decisions?
So there's a couple ways that a Power 5 head coach becomes available. One of those ways, and I can't obviously speak about anybody specifically, but one of those ways is if they get fired. I mean, let me start by answering a different question maybe. So the history of the University of New Mexico, and that's one of the reasons there's so much passion here, is because of the history that our fan base has, and they have a long, long memory. Well, 15 or 20 years ago, the salaries for a group of 5 school like the University of New Mexico and the Pac-12 schools like Arizona State, as an example, were pretty similar. Yeah. But then the TV contracts came to play.
Football TV contracts.
Then BCS football was those contracts came to play, and now it is totally unrealistic to think that a Power 5 current head coach who's making 3 times what any group of 5 school is paying, and think that they're going to turn down an extra $2 million to come to the University of New Mexico, despite how passionate our fans are and how good of a job and how the media coverage is here. That's just not a realistic thing for people. I mean, you're not going to take a $2 million pay cut. So the way that a Power 5 coach becomes available is if they get let go, or if an athletic director and a coach have a conversation that says, you know what, we're not to the point of firing you, but we could have a discussion on your buyout. And we could have a honest discussion on, look, if you want to go somewhere, we can reduce your buyout and we can shake hands and decide this didn't work. And so those are the 2 ways a Power 5 coach should become available. And until they do, we certainly don't want to speculate. But I tell you, the connections that Eddie has in that Power 5 level, we have a really good idea of the people that will become and won't become available. And we are certainly monitoring things as they come, and our pool of candidates of people we're talking to right now might get smaller, might get bigger, based on what happens at other places.
Dave, let me ask you about connections. I think that's a big advantage that you guys have, and Eddie obviously has not just played for Frank Martin, but all the people that he's crossed paths with, played with, coached with, and then you've got a close connection with Tim Miles, which goes back a lot of years. How much do you lean on the personal thing? Tim Miles obviously was a big conversation on our show yesterday. I don't know how much you can get into him and whatever, but how much do you guys lean on that? And so you have a relationship. Does Eddie look more at that? Eddie's got a relationship, so do you look more at some of that from a different perspective than he might on a certain guy?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly rely on all of our connections in the field. But there's a real difference between professional colleagues and friends. I consider my friends are people that I know their lives, I've played golf with them. I met their kids or know their kids' names, and I don't. And there's nobody in the pool that Eddie or I have that information on. And so we have a ton of professional colleagues that are assisting us with this process. And so for Eddie to be able to call, or me to be able to call people who are really educated in will that person be successful at New Mexico based on the fit that we need right now, it's a huge advantage. And that's not to say that we're going to absolutely get this thing right. But the amount of research that we're doing on every one of the people that are out there based on educated colleagues from around the country should at least make the fan base comfortable that we're doing our homework. And you said it. I was listening earlier in the show when I was on my run, and you said, that everyone's got a person, and there's 15,000 people that we hope are going to get in the pit next year, and that means probably 3,000 to 5,000 different choices on who they want as their head coach, and that's great. That's part of the passion that this fan base has. But what I hope that people will understand is that if their person isn't chosen, there's probably a reason. There's probably a reason based on what Eddie thinks is the criteria that we've put out there, and why that is so important to be successful here, and the research we've done, thinking that, man, maybe that person isn't the best fit, and this person is, based on all the education and knowledgeable resources that we have available to us, and then give that person a chance. They're all passionate for a reason. It's bigger than just one person. But whoever that person is that's selected, we hope that person is given a great chance to be successful, because we all need them to be successful. Man, this place is going to be special when we win a conference basketball championship and a football bowl game in the same year. And that's what our goal is, and because we want to win championships.
And Dave, with that said, seeing the direction the football program is going on, the potential that this men's basketball program does have, and you look at the Mountain West as a whole, how good can not only UNM be, but this conference be moving forward?
Yeah, no, I think what you're seeing right now is it all goes in cycles, right? The cycle right now of where the Mountain West is, we understand where we need to be at the University of New Mexico. And what makes a job good? That's the question. Well, what makes a job good, besides the media attention that we've already discussed and the passionate fan base, are the parts of the budget that allows them to be good. The relationship with the athletic administration, the alignment with the president and the board of regents. Those are the factors that make a job good for someone to take. And those are the things, frankly, that Eddie has been working on in the 4 years since he's been here. Making sure that we're aligned at the top, making sure that our budget numbers are to the point where they can be successful in the Mountain West. We're not trying to get the budget that the Pac-12 has, because we don't have those type of revenue sources. But we're trying to make sure that within our peer group, our budget's enough that we are allowed we can give the person a chance to be successful. Why we need to be successful so much, it's all about the revenue generation possibilities. When men's basketball is good, and beyond that, obviously, all of our other programs, but we're talking about men's basketball right now. When men's basketball is good, we obviously have more in ticket sales. We also have more in local club memberships. We also have more in multimedia rights. We also have more support from just the fan base in general that want to buy the T-shirts and give us merchandising, and all the revenue sources are very dependent on men's basketball success. And so this is a huge hire for us to make sure that we give ourselves an opportunity, from a revenue generation standpoint, a chance to be successful.
All right, no, I appreciate it, Dave. Hopefully that helps it, and probably everybody's just going, what? So what? When? What? Maybe next week, maybe the week after. Next week's fair, and it it could happen. All right, man. I appreciate you spending some time with us.
I know you guys got to go. Tell you one more thing.
Yeah.
So there's a coach out there, hypothetically, that was under 500 at a Division I school, and that coach was again under 500 record. Then they go to another Division I school, and they have a 17-17 record. Never been. Those are his 5 years of head coach. And I've heard you say before, it's all about the numbers. Numbers don't lie. Is that coach hireable?
I don't have the full picture. I mean, we're not hiring just on numbers, right? I haven't made my phone calls. I don't have the perspective. I don't know what the school was. I'm not telling you he's not hireable.
Yeah. Well, that coach is Niko Medved.
Yeah.
And so my point is that I've heard you talk a lot about. I'm not trying to justify anybody at this point. I want to make that point again, but I want people to understand that it is more about the numbers. And you said it yourself. Niko Medved was under 500 at Fermat. I think his record is 55-72. Then he goes to Drake for 1 year, and he's 17-17. And now he's probably going to be the coach of the year well, he wasn't, but he certainly could have been the coach of the year in the Mountain West. And so why is that? Because he's a great fit. And Joe Parker found a great fit for Colorado State. And so, again, please don't judge a book only solely by the cover, and let's give the person a chance, whoever it is, and have all get behind whoever the new coach is here at the University of New Mexico.
Dave, appreciate the time. Hit them straight when you hit them, and continued success. And I know you guys will get this done soon and properly, and we'll meet the new coach soon. Thanks for the time.
Anytime. Thanks, guys.
David Williams, the Deputy Athletic Director. The numbers thing at the end, and I know we're way over time, is part of it can't be dismissed. But it's like we said yesterday, it can't be solely the reason either. Rocky Long left, I'm pretty sure when he left UNM, right, he had a under 500 record, right?
Yeah, there's multiple factors involved that you need to judge, because it's easy to get caught in an overall record, but you also got to look at the seasons involved, what was taken over, where was the program, etc.
All right, we got to take a break. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Sometimes a hiring
Micah,
freeze
I'm going to move that Coleman Vision to 940.
Right.
The lob, tagged by Osi, the one-hand hammer.
Put up. And a drive from Palm. Second field goal, he's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off Romero. A 3 for...
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good... Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing,
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, a little kick.
They leave it one more time. Two-hand hammer. Up top. Yes, and the finish for Akbayosi. Saved into the hands of Riak ahead of the pack. Davina Lovato up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
They got in. He got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
Second quarter, 2nd and 4 for Socorro at the whole 44-yard line. McDaniel trying, good block by Hicks. First down and more, 30, 25, 20. McDaniel might be gone. Touchdown.
Wow.
Touchdown for Michael McDaniel.
It's 40 seconds this year. It's not like 25 like it used to be.
He laterals it back. What a play by Hightower. Pitch.
Looked like somebody moved a little bit early. Hicks, the play fake double move. He's got his receiver wide open. Caught. One man to beat. Touchdown. Touchdown to number 17, Nathaniel.
Third and 6. Big defensive play coming up here. Little trickery to Reese. See you later. Touchdown. They went for the deep ball to Reese.
All right, I don't know how you feel about that or what you feel you got out of that. If it helped you, if it didn't. Let me just kind of get in on the final thing that David Williams said, and that was David Williams, the deputy athletic director at the University of New Mexico. He gave you, the 17 and 17, the 500 stuff. Would you hire him? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, give me more information. Did the program get better? Did it not? Record is part of it, and I know we talked about things yesterday, and specifically a lot of conversation. You brought up Tim Miles with his record, and his record over the last 12 years is 187 and 202 at both Colorado State and Nebraska. He was 116 and 114 at Nebraska, which actually is quite an achievement. I mean, honestly, if you look at Nebraska's history, and then 71 and 88 in his years at Colorado State. And so if you want to just go by record, I'd give you a football coach who in what was it, 10 years or whatever it was at a Division I school went 65 and 69. Is he any good? Right? And that coach was Rocky Long at New Mexico. Let me give you another coach. In 6 years at a Division I school, this coach was 33 and 36. Would you hire him? Well, TCU did, because that coach was Dennis Franchione. So you've got to put things into perspective. Yeah. It's the opening drive, Jeff Siembieda and J.J. Buck. So I don't think we have fallen into that trap, you and I. Now some fans have we used numbers? Like numbers, yeah. You said numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. No, the numbers are what the numbers are. Now, while they don't lie, they don't tell the entire story, and I don't think you and I have been guilty of losing perspective on that. Did they get better? Fran, when he got here, they went 3-8, 6-5, 5-7, 4-7, 6-5, and then won a division at 9-4, and he went to TCU and got paid. Right? When Rocky was here, they were 2 and whatever they were to start, and I mean they went 4-7, 5-7, 6, 7, 8 wins, 7 wins. Right? Bowl eligible all those years. Went to 5 bowl games. They got better. The program got better. So, yes, that's fair perspective.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of coaches that make the move up that are on the side of not having a good overall record because of that. Like they went somewhere, they built it, had 1 or 2 years of really good success, and then make the jump. So you do see it both ways. Sometimes you do have this mid-major coach with just ridiculous record that's ready for his next opportunity, and others it is what you just described. Guys that were somewhere, might not have had success early, but built it up to the point where it earns them that next opportunity.
Yeah, you got to look where it is, and places that just don't have success. New Mexico football didn't have success. Well, Jeff, Rocky inherited a 9-4 championship team, I heard yesterday. Yeah, but there was a good team the year before. Was the program good? There's a huge difference. There was a good team, but was the program good? No. Right? No. It was a lot of seniors, and it was a 1-year 9-4 run. So it sure sounded like, I mean, when you tell me the record and it was off the conversation, it sure sounded like and I just got 3 emails on this. Jeff sure sounds like he's selling me Tim Miles, and you said it in 3 different versions. Two emails, 1 text. Sorry. It kind of did a little bit. Did it sound that way to you?
It did, and I do think Nico Medved is a good case to look at. Right fit, right place, right time, and you're hoping that you hit that home run with this hire, because this administration, man, this is 2 biggest decisions. You're hiring a football coach and a men's basketball coach, and these are ginormous things, and everyone knows that. It's no surprise what men's basketball being good means to this community athletically and that athletic department, so they understand what this hire means, how much pressure they're under, and you do have to look at so many different things in this. And when the name finally does come out, we'll be able to really discuss and look at, all right, what is the track record, what is the trajectory, but ultimately the fit here. Because whatever you've done somewhere else, you come here, what kind of players are you recruiting, what kind of players can you get in the transfer market, because you got to be good in both to be successful in Mountain West.
Well, and how are you going to adapt to here? Fran Fraschilla tried it his way. Steve Alford tried it his way, right? Richie tried it his way. Look, this is different. And, Fran came from a big media market. I can handle that. No, you're number 1 here, not number 13 at St. John's or Manhattan, right? Steve came from Iowa. Yeah, it was a big deal there, but, man, it's the biggest deal here. And there is pressure to it. And so I think the biggest thing that comes out of it, and I'll say it again, and I said it during the football search, every one of you is not going to be satisfied. You're not all getting your guy. And I know there's people, well, if he doesn't hire this guy, I'm done. I'm not supporting the program. And I would tell you, I think that's a little short-sighted. I'm not going to tell you how to be a fan. I've told you that for years. You do you. But I would hope if you truly, if it's about the university, it's about your alma mater or UNM or whatever it is to you, that you give whoever comes in an opportunity, because you're not all getting your guy. Some of you will, most of you won't. Right? And will you give that person a chance? 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. A lot of reasons people have been getting LASIK surgery during the COVID pandemic. The demand for LASIK may have been it has seen a rise during the pandemic, but here's the deal: the benefits are going to last well beyond the pandemic. I got mine in 2003, and the benefits are lasting me. Here we are, 18 years later. Whether you have a flexible schedule or you're tired of your glasses fogging up because you're wearing a mask, or maybe there is some disposable income now, or you're looking for the long-term value, because besides being convenient, your quality of life is going to last a long, long time with this. You're going to not spend money on eyeglasses and lenses and contacts and designer frames, and this is health, this is life, this is unbelievable. I told you, I got my LASIK surgery at Dr. Coleman over at Coleman Vision back in 2003 when I was working at Channel 13, doing the morning news. I was putting on lenses and contacts and all that stuff. They've become family. I love the Colemans, what they do in this community, but more so, they are world-renowned. Dr. Coleman is for what he does, leading the way in this field, and has been since he started this practice years ago. The professionalism and the quality of what they do. If you are thinking about LASIK, I'm telling you, it changed my life. It changed other people's lives. And the way they handle this is the way you would want it to be done. Check out ColemanVision.com. I love these people. ColemanVision.com. Or take a look. If you think you are a candidate for LASIK, call them at 881-8880. That's 881-8880. Seeing is believing. Coleman Vision. It's going to change your life.
To the right, single receiver split to the left. Play fake, head up the middle, got some room, 50, 45, 40, has one man to beat, 30, 25, 10, 5, touchdown, Hope.
Wow.
On a...
Option again, he'll keep it. Now he'll pitch it. Comes out to the 30, 25, 20, up the sideline, still inbounds, into the end zone, let's see. Touchdown, Portell.
The outside of running an out route. Davis sending a play action, looking. Go back to Lewis, and Lewis makes a cut, and Lewis still on his feet. Dorian Lewis is in for a touchdown.
So Davison back to toss, and he's got all day. One miss, and he's rolling.
He's got a guy. Can he get it there? Davison to Luke Weissong.
Hey, we told you he
touchdown.
could spin that football, and that was a throw right there. I know he's got the win in his back, but
Ramos wants another.
Opportunity here. Martinez shoots, he scores.
Cut into it. Had some nice looks at the rim. Win. Inside. They're not going to miss this one. Two-hand hammer from Murillo.
Ball's played up. Rodriguez with it. Gonna settle. Looks to the inside. Comes to the far side push. Shot on and goal. Deflected in. No.
Dorian's going to go all the way. It was blocked by the rim. Get it out, says Kobe Wade. Ramos, got it. Look out. Ramos, can he chase it down? It was a freebie. Saved it. And then stolen. And somehow Hasbury's got it back. Handoff. Watson.
Get it stripped. Got the own stripped him. Compiling the other way. Win up top to the big goal. Here he comes.
For the lead. Got it. What a great game plan. Look at this.
Agbayosi throws it down.
Call it as Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's gonna.
All right, obviously I got a lot of response. My favorite one, JJ, is this one. AC, and AC contributes a lot of good stuff to our show, but he says, why does UNM like to go after coaches that are under contract? Weir, Martin, go after coaches that don't have jobs. Where are your ethics? First of all, the good coaches are probably going to have jobs. I mean, the guys are going to be interested in right? Oh, well, then why are they hiring Tim Miles? He doesn't have a job. I didn't say they're hiring Tim Miles, but he's a candidate. And like JJ asked Dave, AC, you asked permission from the athletic director at the school under which he's contracted. Can we speak with this person? And that's how it is. This isn't uncommon. Why do
that's
people?
What agents are for.
Wayne and Ray.
And he mentioned, there's a lot of agent conversations going on in this, and because he said, if a team is still playing basketball, we don't want to swoop in there and be the focus of the head coach. You have to have these conversations. It's business. It's going on all across the board. So I hope that's not sent with 100%. How dare they? It's how do you think coaches get jobs or take a step up in the business? They usually are under contract somewhere else or doing really good, and then go to their next opportunity.
What about the ethics of the coach? As if he's under contract, then what's he looking for? And by the way, what about how do you get a job? You have a job, but then you're interviewing for another one. What about your ethics at that point? I mean, it's come on now. Everybody's always looking for an opportunity if there's something better. And bottom line is, if somebody comes calling, you're going to listen. And That of all of them, that's my favorite. This one is from John. He says, well, that interview certainly didn't inspire me about the search. It almost seemed like he was getting us ready for a less than exciting hire. I understand about the fit, but in reality, winners win no matter where they are at. Okay? And then Lobo Hobo hit me with what Rocky inherited, in quotes. It's funny that when Rocky and Davalos had their introductory presser, they talked about keeping the momentum going. Neither said Lobo football had a good team, but the program was starting over. Okay.
Travis.
All right. You're right. Rocky inherited a juggernaut. They won 1 year at 9-4, went to their first bowl game since the 6th. All right. Like Lobo Hobo's on, Rocky inherited this great thing, and he screwed it up, and that's fine. Lobo Hobo is to Rocky what Gene is to Ray Birmingham, I think. Right? Just go ahead and hate. All right, Wayne, I'm going to let you go, but we're not going down the road deep into this. Let's spend $100,000 on a high school coach. I mean, if that's your thing, like we've hit it a million times, I'll give you some leeway on it, but they're not doing that. So go ahead. What's up, Wayne?
Well, okay, and of course you can roast me and my ideas when I'm done. But I did find the interview interesting with the assistant, but he did speak in a lot of generalities, and for a search that's potentially almost done, I did wish that we got more red meat. You know, AC and the text messages you read off, they all make good points, and we want to walk away feeling okay about that interview, but instead there is a little concern. I have the concern because all we can do is read the subtext of his message, and I feel that the subtext is that they're looking at a out-of-state guy, with a middle-of-the-road record, with a pay raise over Weir, and possibly a mixed reputation. And unfortunately for Albuquerqueans, we don't have a guy. So whoever they hire will be a bit of a mystery and a wild card. And I really wish that they would consider, and when I say they, I mean the guys at UNM, would hire a bargain coach from the state, whoever that is, but they'll never go that route. I agree with you, Jeff. And because there's either a real or an unreal perception that we won't be competitive if we go after a local guy at a bargain rate. So I guess I would conclude by saying good luck, out-of-state, expensive coach, and please wear the cherry blazer from day one.
Thanks, Wayne. Look, there's no guarantees either way. I do believe Eddie feels, and I don't think he's wrong on this, that this is, in large respect, an almost complete rebuild. And you need a coach with with college basketball experience, not high school experience. Is that fair? And I agree with him on that. That if you're asking someone to come in and completely rebuild this thing, you're in 11th place in an 11-team league. You're at the bottom. Somebody's got to have some experience at the college coaching level, right?
Yes, and it does seem like that's a preferred route with what Eddie Nunez has talked about since the beginning.
Secondly, Eddie Nunez isn't from here. I think he's doing a hell of a job. Steve Alford had no connection to New Mexico. I think he did a hell of a job. I mean, Norm Ellenberger, Bob King didn't. I understand the ties, and while I think that is a endearing factor, I don't think that should be the overreaching factor when going for a hire, because people have come in. Hell, I'm not from here. I'd like to believe in 25 years I've done a decent job. Ray, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Ray.
How's it going, guys?
Good, Ray.
Hey, I think by his thing saying at the very end that team 17-17, the record and stuff. But then again, Tim Miles comes into play. But they're pretty good friends, is what I hear.
Right.
And he said on the thing that if he knows his wife and he knows his kids and stuff, that person ain't on the list. So he's giving a negative and then something else. I don't think it's Tim Miles, but I hope it's a good coach. And like you say, the records don't matter too much. It's just it's a good fit. Look, all these Lobo fans, we put down McCabe because look what he did to the program. But I bet you they'd love to have McCabe with Liberty's record these last few years to go into the NCAA. It's just a fit. You got a right fit, get the right players. That's what it's going to be, and hopefully they get the right fit. Thanks.
Yep. No, thanks. Look, Richie's doing a nice job, and he's going to the NCAA for the third year in a row. But wouldn't you say, JJ, when using Ray's term fit, wouldn't you say Richie's a really good fit at Liberty?
Yes. He seems to mesh with the university and what they try to present as you know, well, this is what we're about overall when it comes to the college and their beliefs, and then also just in a good place basketball-wise. And I think Richie McCabe, there's a lot of coaches that are good coaches, but do struggle at stops when it comes to managing certain programs, just the timing of their career, everything else that is going on. And that, yeah, there's plenty of stories. You can look at guys that have amazing records that are moving up, and there's a lot more guys that might not have an amazing record but still be a good coach, looking for that moment. All right, what have they done the last couple of years? Are they on the way up, but it took them some time to get there because of what they had to do? There is a lot of moving pieces when we're talking about head coaches at any level, whether it's collegiate, pro sports, etc.
Yeah. And look, he just brought up Tim Miles. Look, I'm not telling you Tim Miles is going to be the coach. I'm going to tell you there's a very good chance he could be, right? But that's not a done deal. I mean, there's a chance he could be. I do believe he'd probably be on that final list. But I think there's others on that list as well. And I think a lot's going to happen over the next few days. If you're there, stay there. We're going to get to you, 505-246-0610. Guys, I want to tell you about New Mail. I've been telling you about it for quite some time now because guys are getting results. And I was playing golf with somebody fairly recently. He said, dude, I called that New Mail. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but he said it really made a difference for me. I didn't know why I was sluggish, and it's given me a whole lot more energy. New Mail's working for a lot of men all over the country. If you're tired, maybe you're carrying a few extra pounds, or you're dealing with erectile dysfunction, guys, it's natural. Men reach a certain age, and things happen, and there's a good chance it's going to happen to you. But you can fight nature and call New Mail, because New Mail helps with these things, and the results are real. They're cutting-edge technology. It's testosterone replacement. It utilizes cutting-edge technology, and guys all over the country benefit from it. Call them at 505-652-1688. That's 505-652-1688, or visit newmail.com. That's NUMALE.com. Guys, they're here in Albuquerque. The process is simple. It starts with your phone call, goes through the treatment. They're there with you the whole way. And the best part is you will feel better. It treats all kinds of different things for hair loss and weight gain. You can lose weight, fatigue, and erectile dysfunction. 505-652-1688. Don't put it off, guys. Take care of yourselves. Call newmail.com or visit them, visit them at newmail.com, or call 505-652-1688.
Staples helps you get back to business with custom printed signs and sales.
As Javi's looking, and he's got a guy wide open, and it's Gay, and he's going to walk into the end zone. But he did a good job with it. First and goal, it's Chavez to the middle, and Chavez stops.
And Stevens in motion. On the handoff to Mitchell. Look out! Oh, see you later. Take it to the house. Fly. Cardinals fly. To the other side. Provide some protection. And off to Webskowski again. Look out. See you later. Good night. Touchdown. Webskowski. He's going to fire to the end zone. Open man! Touchdown! Wild catch! Not a defender inside. A little bit. Skowski on the sideline! Hasta mañana! He's off to the races! Touchdown! Clovis!
Albuquerque this afternoon.
34-24. Late in the third. How about this run? Nice play. Dickerman, he's still on his feet. Touchdown, Wolverine.
Exactly what they want to get yards.
He's going to go for it. He's got a guy. Goes to the end zone. It's Krebs. Touchdown. What a play.
And long here for the Storm. Handoff to, we're going to fake the handoff, excuse me. Davidson on the deep ball. He's got some space, and it's caught. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Storm. Wow. Santa Maria.
And so they'll send one deep. and returnable at the 2. Usually Volcano do either a reverse or a fake reverse, and here it is a reverse. And a move to the outside. There is a lane. Look out! Shot out of a cannon. Rodriguez is going to take it all the way.
Creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the 3, and he buries it.
He's coming in soon. Double pick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window. Scores it as foul.
Brought here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish.
What a...
Around the screen. Against White. Step back. It's blocked. JB with the block.
In transition. Ahead to hit on. Hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go. They've got a shot. They have a chance. And it's put up. And it's good. What a 3 that is by Jalen.
Hito puts it up.
Rebound Cowboys. Right side David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Lamina Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Lusses. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell. Clock at 6. They get it. Barnes Tompkins fires. Yes! Pass up court. This for the win. Blocked by DJ Bustos. Cowboys win. Cowboys win.
Kind of cool. Ken sent me a happy anniversary, Jeffy. Last night was a historic 10th anniversary of the Mountain West Conference tournament when Jimmer went for 52 against New Mexico 10 years ago.
You're sure that's one everyone wants to celebrate?
No. All right, well, I got another one for you because this one isn't going to make you feel any better either. Carl said, did Jacques Cousteau destroy Lobo basketball? Remember Laurent Rivard from Harvard? He says, Jeff, remember, even after Harvard, the future looked bright. Everyone was coming back. Then a couple of days later, we started hearing whispers that Snell was leaving. Was that what pushed UCLA Alford out the door? That promising core was never together again. Within a couple of weeks, Craig and Cullen were hired, and the bottom fell out. No, I'm thinking what pushed Steve out the door was the $2.6 million a year at UCLA. He would have come back without Tony
UCLA,
Snell.
not Tony Snell. By the way, shout out to Tony Snell. Game-winning three-point bucket last night for the Atlanta Hawks as they beat the Toronto Raptors. And that dude has carved himself out a great career in the NBA. He's getting some nice minutes over the last couple weeks, and he's a part of that rotation in
he's getting a lot of cheddar. I mean, he's probably, made over $60, $70 million?
Oh, easy.
Yeah, I'll find it for you. All right, Travis, good morning. What's up, man? You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. How you living?
Good morning, fellas. Let me tell you something. That interview got me fired up on a Friday.
Good.
Look, man, if we're still looking at sports analysts, I don't know, someone should talk to, Stephen A. Smith's agent, or, maybe Jim Rome has a little time on the side to, hook this thing up. The comparison with Medved is a terrible one. The dude has never coached a game in the Mountain West Conference before becoming the head coach for the Colorado for CSU. If I'm a lead guy, if I'm running a team and I'm looking for a 3-point shooter, I'm looking at the statistics. I'm seeing how they shoot from the field, and I don't go pick up Dwight Howard hoping somehow that guy is going to break the analytics and become Steph Curry. Like, in 4 seasons with the Lobos, we're won as many games in the Mountain West as Miles did in 5 seasons. That's 28 games. And his first season, Miles went winless. And that was with a full season, full roster, no COVID restrictions. This season, we won 2 games with all of the COVID craziness, and the dude only had 6 players on his roster. Like, give me a break. And if the argument is, well, the Mountain West Conference was really tough in the 10s and the 11s, the tough conference. Well, the conference hasn't gotten any easier. Like, yeah, we lost BYU, but we still have San Diego State. We still have UNLV. We added Fresno. We added Nevada. We added Boise State. We added Utah State. Like, the only thing that Tim Miles knows about New Mexico is that he's afraid of snake, and he knows how to lose games in the pit.
He's 2-9 against New Mexico.
We learned that lesson when we pay that guy a buyout on his way out the door. Thanks, guys.
All right, man. Thanks, Travis. Wow. First of all, Colorado State was really bad when he took over, okay? Yes, he went 0-16 in league his first year and 7-25, and he was 4-12 the next year. They were a bad program. So Tim Miles has a really good reputation in the coaching world. Tim Miles, by every account, is a good guy, great guy, nice guy. People want to play for him. The Tim Miles of bad coach rhetoric is bad, okay? Tim Miles is not a bad coach. He did go 0-16. Again, what was Rocky's record early on, and he got better? Ended up 65-69 at New Mexico. He's a pretty damn good coach. Numbers don't lie, but they don't tell the entire story. So, yeah, he was 0-16. And to say, by the way, JJ, that the league didn't get any, losing Utah State, BYU, and TCU and adding Utah State, Nevada, Boise, yeah, it did take a step down. Not a huge step, but yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Well, and now we're seeing those teams are solid atop this conference.
All right, biggest news that he said coming up. Relax, y'all. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Boy, do we have a sweet deal for you. You're not going to want to miss out on this. Go to our website, sportsanimalabq.com, right at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock. Take advantage of an Albuquerque Journal 1-year digital subscription and a 7th-generation iPad. All of that is worth $570. You're going to get it for $285. Robert Rivera from the Journal is with us. Good morning, Robert. How you living?
Good morning. How you doing?
Everything's good, man. It's digital. Everything's digital. There was a day where everybody got their paper on their doorstep. People still do that, but now you can get it wherever you are, whenever you want it. Digital, around the world, travel. This is a great deal we got going.
Yeah, definitely. This includes our whole suite of digital products. You have access to the website, our app, our digital replica. It's an exact replica of our print edition. So it's a great deal.
It's New Mexico's most trusted and largest newspaper. They've been doing this for over a century. You guys have grown. And when you say all of the digital products, this isn't just about reading the paper online, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, we update our website throughout the day with local stories, breaking news. You get newsletters, push notifications, daily email alerts. There's a whole suite of products that come with this.
And the Journal has over 20 special sections a year, things like pet calendars and reader choice, balloon fiesta stuff, summer and winter holiday gift guides. Take advantage. It's our sweet deal, sportsanimalabq.com at 9 o'clock. Logging onto that webinar. $285 gets you a new iPad and a year-long subscription to the Albuquerque Journal. Robert, appreciate you spending some time with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm Kyle Montgomery with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. New Texans head coach David Culley didn't do much to dispel the Deshaun Watson trade rumors in Houston. Here's what he told NFL Network's Jim Trotter and Steve Weiss Thursday on their Huddle and Flow podcast.
Will Deshaun Watson be the starting quarterback for the Houston Texans in 2021?
He is our starting quarterback.
Eddie's just sent me a text that this guy's an idiot.
Lovato driving. They're going to count it. There he goes. Ooh, a little spin and a finish. Natalia Chavez, good spin.
Nice jump stop through the.
Played with the gambling a little bit. Oh, there's a.
Hill, little step, high window.
Got the second.
To the middle.
Here we go. 3.9. It's Cooper's going to run with it. Cooper's going to swing it out to Lowry. Lowry. Portillo couldn't get it off, and Clovis. It's waved off. He did not get it off in time. Portillo.
Reverse layup. Gallegos spins. Window finishes.
There's a run coming from.
Lazy pass. Here comes Crawford. It might be showtime. Sam. Shoot. They'll get one off, and it'll count high off the window.
Oh my gosh. Here's a long three.
Boom.
Bang. Martinez will beat the buzzer. Got it to go. His
Ford driving kick. Three's in the air. It's good. Nice pass on the nice block by Hernandez Crawford.
and Brown in the transition. But why not, Steve? Is Corbalan's going to go and he puts it away. And Corbalan wants to put it down. But here comes Las Brown. You can't leave him alone. Put it down.
Gershon in transition, 3-on-2. Gershon going to go all the way. Oh, Morgan. Let's see if Melfi can cash it in. He's got some protection. Deep ball. Erickson's open. Touchdown, Monarchs.
Second and 10. Smith looking, and he's going to fire over the middle, and he's got his guy. It's another big play. Walking away for a touchdown, Tristan Altier.
They're going to hand it off to Chavez. Chavez breaking tackles. Look out. Chavez up the sideline. Stays in bounds. Touchdown. Volcanovic.
That replay.
Yeah, I
Just
got
get
you.
the measurement. I mean,
Smith's got a fire on first down, and he's on the outside. There's a lot of room for Brad Thomas. A move, and he's set free. Dance into the end zone. Touchdown. So it goes.
7 o'clock in the morning. 7 a.m. where have you been? 7 a.m. where is your brother?
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. This is the opening drive with two-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Siembieda, and J.J. Bond.
I think the biggest thing that came out of this morning, JJ, is what? The biggest thing that came out of this morning is ESPN's going to be here or with the Lobo women. I guess it could be here, right? We're into that point in our lives. They're going to be
They'll
here.
be on a Zoom call
for the Lobo or for the women's college basketball unveiling show. What would it, announcement show, bracket show,
Selection show, yes.
Selection. Thank you. Thanks. That's what I'm looking for. That's a big deal. So they think that there's a pretty decent chance, I would assume, that UNM's going to get an at-large. I think you had a pretty good point too. This is their opportunity to tell UNM's story. That here's a team that spent 51 straight days on the road and however many days in hotels and tell their story and went out and won their conference championship. They didn't win the tournament, but should they get in, they're 15. What is their record? 15-4. And here's a team on the bubble. And let's talk to their coach, Mike Bradbury. Well, they never quit. I've never been prouder, right? I mean, that's kind of where we are with that. I think that's a good reason to do it. But who knew? Who knew?
Yeah. And then he said it's either going to be smiles or very disappointed when they're like, and now we select the 6-12 Ole Miss. Welcome to the NCAA tournament. And you're like, oh, well.
Right. I hope not. All right. Mike says if Norm Ellenberger is the gold standard, that is never going to happen again, Jeff. Norm was a rock star, and he lived like a rock star in the community. And if you believe the rumors, that lifestyle contributed to the loss to Cal State Fullerton. I'm not sure a coach in 2021 can connect with the fans in that way. The result is more robotic coaches like Paul Weir. It's from Mike. Yeah, there's no way a coach can live in this community like Norm Ellenberger did back in the day, like any of those guys. I mean, how many of you guys tell me stories of I went to Old Lucky's or Ned's and had a beer with Norm and he was getting hammered? No. No. Right, we've had coaches in the last few years, well, I say last decade and a half, who've been out in the community. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You can't do it anymore, not with everybody having it. How would Norm Ellenberger have dealt with everybody having a stamped cell phone in their hand with a camera? To be able to post on social media back in the 70s.
Well, it depends on what you're doing out in the community. And
okay, how would Norm Ellenberger? Yes.
So it's one thing if you're just out eating dinner and you're like, hey, how y'all doing? Nice to see you. Hey, it's Danny Gonzalez. Oh, hey, look, it's Ray Birmingham. Hey, that's different as opposed to meeting up with your boys at the bar.
Look, nobody's telling you can't go out in the community. Go have dinner. Go do your thing. That's not what I'm saying. But yes, if that's your standard, then you're right. It's never going to happen again.
Probably not going to be like, you know who I did shots with last night.
Yeah. We're in a different world. All right, 505-246-0610. If you want to respond to what David Williams had to say, the coaching search is going. Any of that's on the table for you. Aggies win last night, 77-61 over UTRGV. Vaqueros. Will Lakai had 15. Donnie Tillman had 12. Aggies will go to the semifinals of the WAC tonight against Utah Valley. Cam Newton signs one-year deal with the Patriots. So he's back there, so the Patriots have something to fall back on. Virginia out of the ACC tournament, positive COVID. We're getting now, JJ, to that 7-day incubation. That's Thursday. They probably can't play Thursday in the NCAA tournament. If they're going to play, you got to put them in a Friday game. You're going to put them on a 1 or 2 line. What if they don't? You put Utah State or Boise State or Xavier and that. Like now the NCAA's got something really to think about. I mean, this has ramifications going beyond the ACC tournament.
It does. And while they've made changes, it's still not enough to where, it's a situation that you feel good about. Like, okay, a positive test, let's test negative, because you just said that 7 days throws a wrench into the equation. And where does Jerry has Virginia as a 4.
All right. I mean, that's a pretty high line to put a substitute team on.
That is a very high line to put a substitute team on. But it's what you have to do. Now, would they – because given – I don't know what the travel time is going to be like what the cutoff period is. Because would you move, say, a 5 to a 4 and then insert someone else there? Like, who knows? It's probably, as you said, going to be as simple as this team's out, well, then this team moves in, and you get that seed. Congratulations.
Yeah. All right. Exactly. Edward, good morning. You're on the Quants Auto Care Hotline. Hello, sir.
Top of the morning to you. Gentlemen, I root for people. I really do. And I don't come real negative on people. You know that. Over all the years I've been calling, I never attack people, especially their character. You just kind of listen and gather information. But this morning I'm going to invoke or hearken a quote that was somebody who was very influential in your life, Jeff, Mr. Siembieda, your father. And this is pointed towards Mr. David Williams. Quote, unquote, Mark Twain and Abraham Lincoln both get credit for this quote. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. You know, I tuned in mid-interview, and I honestly thought when I heard the gentleman talking that it was just some random caller and maybe a prelude to the Friday Ho.
Yeah.
Then he enlightened us with... Jeff, just let me go. I'm going to be kind.
All right.
Then he hit us with enlightenment with, well, the quote unquote, the way a top five or what is it, you know, the top five conference coach becomes available is when he gets let go. And then he hit us with another quote: if the candidate that you're rooting for doesn't get hired, there's probably a good reason. Mr. Williams, is the sky blue? Is the Rio Grande muddy? You know, is it wet down there? I mean, come on. If he walked into my place of employment with whatever compensation he makes and use that rhetoric, they would walk him out of the building. It would be disconcerting to me. And by the way, I'm a huge fan of the actual athletic director. That guy is dynamic, sharp, and brilliant, and I think he's on to great things if he doesn't jump to another program soon. And Mr. Williams found a way to navigate his way through corporate America and is probably the epitome of Peter Principle, in my opinion.
Carlos.
But again, I just don't know. I mean, I was really stunned isn't the word, but it was interesting for sure. But I do want to talk briefly about the NFL. I'm not happy with the Cam Newton signing. I mean, I was just disappointed with the Patriots, but who knows what. They re-signed Trent Brown as a left tackle, so maybe they're going to use him as a road graver and they'll go out a strong running game. But you know who signed an extension today, which will probably almost guarantee another Super Bowl win? The great Thomas Edward Brady signed an extension, a 4-year extension, which I would put, if I was a betting person, in the 7-star picks, that he's going to win another Super Bowl in the next 2 to 3 years. Thank you for letting me share my thoughts. I hope Jeffrey was listening so he can, and I hope Mr. David Williams is listening. Have a great day, my good friends.
All right, let me go. So Dave started that, and Edward, you said you missed the beginning of it. Dave started it saying, "Look, I'm not going to get into specifics on candidates. We're not going to do that." So did he speak in generalities? He did, and that's really what that was going to be. Edward, with all due respect, and I do use that quote. It was on the office of my dad, or on the wall of my dad's office. It's better to be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. That does not apply to David Williams. Dave's not a fool. Dave's a bright man, and Dave came on to try to explain things, and he did in generalities. He wasn't getting into specifics. This wasn't to let you know who the coach is or who the final three was. I you know, if you didn't get what you wanted out of it, okay. But I think going after Dave in that respect, I think is at least inappropriate. Let me use that. I don't know where you are on that. I just it's unfair. It's not right.
I agree with what you just said. This was a situation where they wanted to have a conversation. We knew it was going to be very vague at this point in time. There were some things that I didn't know about that it took away from it. That wasn't necessarily groundbreaking news in terms of the coaching search, but just things that they use. Because we hear so much about search firms, right? And UNM seems like they're able to do a lot of this stuff in-house right now. The connections that Eddie and Dave have, the programs that are out there that help streamline the process with contracts, etc. Because there's so many questions in that regard. So those were some of my takeaways from it. But you also think we all kind of had an idea of what the conversation was going to be like. They wasn't going to have Dave Williams with us at 8 a.m. on a Friday saying, "Oh, by the way, guys, here's your
guy.
Coach announcement."
Yeah, here's your guy. I don't know what you wanted out of that. Dave put the parameters on it. The whole intent was to help you understand what the process was a little bit more, and to think a little deeper, or maybe in different ways than maybe you are. And if you didn't get what you needed out of it, I guess I apologize, but Dave is a good guy, and not any of the things that you accused him of. And so I'm going to go to bat for him and for them on this one, and do a little defense. Carlos, I'm going to hold you through the break. Stay there if you will, and we'll get back to the phones when we get back.
And what you need to do is figure out how to make yourself feel better in this year of, yes, we're talking about safety and being healthy. Have you thought about your health outside of just what we need to do to avoid getting sick at this point in time. Well, it's time to start thinking about kickstarting your fitness. Let me tell you about F45. F45 training is a mix of circuit and high-intensity training in 45-minute classes. I absolutely love these workouts. It's a different class every single day, and it fits into your schedule. It's not a lot of time wasted, and I love being able to pair it with other weightlifting workouts. But in a total body workout, you're going to hit cardio style stuff, you're going to hit weight training stuff, functional movements for your entire body. F45training.com, or download the F45 app to take a look at the classes that they have available. And it's a schedule that it should fit into whatever you need. They are open 7 days a week. For me, it's big to work out Saturday and Sunday mornings. If you have a lot of stuff going on during the week to catch up, get those workouts in. Certified trainer is there every single class, so don't be overwhelmed. You're like, circuit training, high intensity training, I don't know if that's for me. It is for everyone. There's all different fitness levels in these classes, and you're going to be comfortable because that's why you have to download the app, book your class. They're still managing class sizes so everyone can go in there and focus on the workout and not everything else that is going on. They're located at 5920 Holly Northeast, so it's really good access, Paseo and I-25. You can sign up for a 7-day free trial so you can see what it's like to get back in the gym, what this type of training is like. And let me tell you, once you get in, you're going to like it. So once again, F45training.com, F45, download the app, look at the classes, get your 7-day free trial, get in there. I got one booked Saturday and Sunday morning. Team training, life-changing. I'll see you at F45.
The Herd.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
That ball stolen. Jeremy Segura.
Forward dribble, spin cycle, up and under move. What a pass, wrap around pass.
Harris with Gates. The long bomb, 3 ball. Oh, great steal by Quinteros, lays it up and scores.
A whole little jump step in the...
And look out, here comes Agbayosi. Crawford set. That's blocked. Lansing says, get that out of here. Sister to sister, Marianne Lansing's going to go all the way. Turnaround. Ramos, pump fake, everyone bites. Ramos hits.
Jackson loses it. Taylor Bond back, alley-oop.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Ramos, rise and fire. He's fouled.
You know, he used to coach for Del Norte. And
Here's Voss all the way with the finish. He'll get the... Behind the back of the dribble. Trying to go up with the right hand. He changed hands in midair. And hotting it. Sent it away. Wynn doing a really good job denying Chavez. DC hasn't got the ball. Oh, Yeku. Oh! Working against Watson. Oh, look at the spin move.
Mike says your Mike Bradbury sounds a lot like your Jerry Jones, Jeff. But they sound alike. Didn't someone call it earlier this week? Said Bradbury sounds just like Jerry Jones.
He's got some of that twang. He's not as deep as Jerry Jones, maybe, but they're very close, man. They're
very
right
close.
there.
Their cadences. There's a lot of ums and you knows. You know, there's a little more twang to Bradbury, a little bit. All right, 505-246-0610. Carlos, thanks for holding. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good day, Carlos.
Thank you. I was just calling because I'm a lifelong Lobo fan, and I've been, didn't get to watch them as much as I wanted to this year because I've been kind of busy, but I thought the team played good, and I was always a great supporter of Dr. Paul Weir, and I just felt like they threw the carpet under him, just kind of pulled it. And now I'm not even excited about Lobo basketball for the first time in a long, long time. I don't know if they'll be able to get a coach. The only coach that I feel that the Lobos can get that will bring some excitement back is Cooper. And I don't know where everybody else is on this, but I've been hearing Tim Miles, and that does not interest me at all. It has to be Cooper. If not, I don't know if I'll come back and be a Lobo fan
Carlos,
again.
Carlos, stay with me. First of all, why would you not be a fan if it's not Cooper? It's got to be my guy or nobody else. If you're a Lobo fan for that long, why would you not give someone else a chance? And what is it about Michael Cooper that it's got to be him?
I believe the reason why is because the way I felt like they disrespected Dr. Weir. I mean, he had his team's backing. The players loved supporting him. All the players talked a lot of positive about him. He never had incidents where players were doing all kinds of crazy messes.
That's not true.
He did his best. I mean, yeah, there was the incident last year with the big man. I can't remember his name.
Carlton Bragg.
And Bragg, and he had some issues, but I felt like he really had the players' best interest. He tried to coach him and didn't throw him under the bus. He just kind of he made a mistake. Let's bring him back. I felt like he was more a player's coach, and the players respected him. And now with them bringing in another coach, I don't know. I don't see anybody out there that's going to excite me.
Carlos, I appreciate the call. I would encourage fans and guys like Carlos, if you're a Lobo fan, and he says he has been for years, to give the guy a chance. You've been a Lobo fan because you've enjoyed it. And if it's not your guy, I would encourage you to give that person a chance. On the Paul thing, I don't know that's exactly right, JJ, that all the players loved playing for him. And to say that there were no incidents is just not right. I mean, last year you had a litany of incidents. We had a party.
You had 3 players.
Yeah, I mean.
Directly, and then more involved around it.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of incident last year. This year was there were nobody had incidents because nobody could go anywhere. There were nobody was off, right? You had a couple guys leaving the team and then at the end quitting. But I don't know that all those guys, when he says they all talk great about him, the very few that were made available to us have talked well about him.
Well, and that's also is that just because they ended up being a bad basketball team? Was there something more going on? Because for the most part, I agree with the sentiment in terms of what Carlos was talking about. Paul was a coach that did have his players back. He didn't go out of the way to throw anyone under the bus in the media. I think the way he handled himself this season was admirable. Were there moments where we're kind of wondering, hey, where is the head coach? Would you like to speak on this? Yes, but I think just given the factors involved, especially when you find out before the season is over, that you're parting ways. There's one way you could go. There's 2 ways you can go. You can either hold your head up high, finish strong, or burn everything down. You didn't burn everything down. This team definitely, those players who showed up and wanted to play, gave it their all. And this is a situation where people stepped up. And if there wasn't necessarily this outside money coming in, he probably would still be your head coach next year. And you'd be playing the fact that, hey, this past year was unprecedented. Let's see what this team can do at the full off season. But some money arose, and they felt that the overall picture wasn't just this season with Paul Weir.
John, good morning. Thanks for holding. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, John.
Good morning, guys. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good. I just wanted to comment on Edward, the Crusher's comments. He quoted a sign on the wall in your father's office.
Yeah.
So he should have followed that before he opened his yapper about the interview with assistant AD Williams. They're not going to give us that much information. They can't, especially as good as you guys are on a local radio talk show, because it could damage the whole process in ways that he wouldn't even think of.
Of course.
So he should have thought about that sign before he opened his mouth. I agree with you. What Edward said was totally off base. We can't get that much information right now. We're still searching for the right coach, and they're not going to give us the information we want, and that's just the way it goes.
No, I appreciate that, John. No, and I think you're right. Look, Edward contributes to this show. I think he's wrong, and I'll tell you when I think you're wrong. I mean, we got a lot of people I think have been wrong. I don't dislike them. Doesn't mean they're bad. Dave came on. He prefaced it by saying, "I'm not going to get into specifics on people. It's going to be generalities." And the whole point of him coming on was to give you some different perspective and maybe think a little differently in regards to what they're thinking, or what their priorities are, how the search is going. It was going to be in general. To John's point, he can't sit there and talk about specifics. And I appreciate David coming on, and Dave's a good man, he's a smart man, he's a bright man, he's a successful man, and I think Edward was off base. Patrick, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Patrick.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good. I've been listening to the last couple of weeks, man, trying not to call in and talk about some of these awful takes, man. It's been tough. I'm not understanding the whole Michael Cooper thing. I understand that he's a local legend. He's a guy that people like here, but I mean, the guy he wasn't a very good college coach at USC. I mean, they didn't have very good success, never went to the tournament. There's a whole lot of talented coaches out there, and you can bet that Eddie's talking to those guys. Eddie's a guy that did really well with the football hire. Danny Gonzalez really turned things around year one. And I think people are going to have to understand that Eddie's a basketball guy. He grew up playing basketball, played college basketball. Basketball is his thing. He's not going to sit here and make some lame duck hires. It's not going to be the way it goes. Eddie's got great connections. Eddie knows what he's doing. There's a guy like David Patrick at Arkansas that is with Eric Musselman out there. He coached with Musselman under Billy Donovan at Florida. Eddie's got a lot of Florida connections. He's got that Billy Donovan connection. It was interesting talking about a guy like Nico Medved at Furman, where he used to be earlier. There's a guy like Bob Ritchie at Furman right now that would be an incredible hire, I think. A guy like Wes Miller at UNC Greensboro, a guy like Brian Michelson at Gonzaga. There's a ton of talented guys out there, and to think that a guy like Michael Cooper is going to come in here and make a difference, I don't understand the whole, needing to gather some more support around the basketball program. If the basketball program is winning, the pit's going to be full. That's just the way it goes. So I don't understand all of that. I don't understand some of these takes saying that Michael Cooper needs to be the next head coach or we need to find somebody local. There's nobody local here that would make a difference. That's simply the fact of the matter. Mr. Williams was on earlier talking about kind of the process and some of the things that they're doing to find the next head coach. I thought he said a lot of good things. I enjoyed listening to that. And people coming on here and knocking him because they don't like to hear the realities of the situation it's interesting to me because New Mexico's never going to be a team that's going to go spend $8 million to buy someone out and get a massive head coach in here. It's just never going to happen. Even at the height of our years with Steve Alford, if you put us in a conference like the Big Ten, we're maybe a 500 team. That's just the reality of the situation. So I appreciate it, guys.
No, thanks. A couple things, Patrick, and I appreciate that. There are a lot of good coaches out there. JJ, I've said this before. I think this university is very lucky to have Eddie Nunez at the helm during this critical time in college athletics. I think he did a perfect job with the football hire. I trust him. He's a basketball guy. I don't know if people outside of this town realize how respected Eddie is, as an athletic director, and secondarily in the basketball community. This is a young man who has incredible connections, but more so is respected. And somebody said earlier he's got a great future in front of him if he doesn't leave. He's got a great future in front of him, period. If and when he leaves, his future he's going to be terrific. He's going to be a Power 5 AD at some point, and he gets it, and he's handling it well. And look, it's coming at him from everywhere. Everybody's got their. I'll explain to Patrick the Michael Cooper thing. He played in the NBA. He's a champion. He's got connections. He's a name. He won a D-League championship. He's coached collegiately. You could do worse. But I don't think he's going to get the job because he doesn't have the degree. But that's the thing. There's some oomph to it, and how important is winning the press conference, and that would do that. But would he win later?
Yeah, and it's what I say when we're talking about Michael Cooper, Kenny Thomas. Are you thinking about them from, man, I loved watching them, they're great players, versus, I think he can be a good coach? Like, there's two different things. You can love someone as a Lobo and want them to be a part of your program, but being a head coach is entirely different. And the thing with Danny Gonzalez is he was building a resume outside of just being an alum. Like, they didn't hire Danny Gonzalez just because he played at the University of New Mexico. It was what he did at Arizona State, the step he took from San Diego State to Arizona State, working with Herm Edwards, the success that Arizona State had defensively. So he was building a resume, and it wasn't just an alumni hire. Like, you can't do that all the time. You can't just always hire someone just because there's a connection. Someone can come in from the outside and build that connection. And you point it out all the time, Jeff. You're like, hey, that's me. That's someone that's not from here, but now I love it, and I'm a part of this state. And that can happen with a coach, and there are a lot of fascinating names out there. I understand Lobo fans wanting that connection, thinking, let's grab someone from that time period when it was really good. Thus, that should mean it would be really good moving forward. But just think, do you want him hired just because you're a fan of him, or because you can actually think there's something there coaching-wise?
Right. Yeah. Then because there's familiarity. It pushes your buttons. Now it gets you excited. It's like to Carlos's call. It gets you excited now. You give someone else the chance to learn about them and get you excited. Hey, you spend tens of thousands of dollars on your vehicle, and the roads you drive on have all kinds of things that make that vehicle get beat up. Rock, chips, salt, bugs, dust, tree sap, they all attack your paint job. On the Spot Automotive Detailing are the experts at applying ceramic coating that lasts up to 5 years. The best protection for your vehicle's paint job, period. On the Spot doesn't just clean your vehicle, they protect it. Inside and outside, they detail your vehicle where you are and when it's convenient for you. You don't take it to them. They come to you at home, at work, at the ballpark, maybe even at the park. Who knows? And they give this service to you. Call On the Spot Automotive Detailing. It's terrific. Protect your vehicle. It's one of your biggest investments. Take care of it. 505-859-2859 or visit them at otsdetailing.com.
Non-profit organizations.
Dude, Adam Silver's on the call now.
Brings it up. Barnes Tompkins, alley-oop. How about it? That was redunculous. Cable to the big fella, might try to jam one home.
I'll just get a little closer.
Oh, instead it's a gorgeous pass.
Here's what
Hill's gonna just shoot it.
He's going to go all the way.
He's gonna fire at the buzzer and he hits.
Great pass, Hadbury, and thank you very much. Tie in the district, inside, fly, Eagles.
Chavez uses some athleticism, and then Morris down low, able to finish. You called it, Steve, in 10 seconds, and look at this, stripped, stolen Watson. Christian Lucero beats the buzzer. Here's Ian Chavez, the sharpshooter. Got it.
Said that any better. He answered the question. He
On
got
a
another
steal
one.
at the buzzer. Back to back for Chavez.
Over the paint. Medina from the volleyball line. Medina wants another one from deep. Oh, he wants 10. Give him 10.
Lewis finds Watson. He's going to finish. One-handed slam. Vista, but just all the different scenarios we can see potentially play out ahead of the state tournament.
Oh! Ho, ho, ho!
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Moreno extra pass. And Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand. And
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
All right, I just want to make sure in the midst of all this craziness, you didn't forget to hoe. Because, I mean, I don't know I could have gone into this weekend without a hoe. You know? All right. What do you guys smoke? You got bad lung capacity? What? I mean, it's okay if you do. I ain't judging or nothing. All right, as long as I feel better now. I do. I just needed some normalcy in my life. crying out loud. Ren says, what a call from Wayne. Jeff, is this the first year a local radio station has not carried the Mountain West Conference tournament in this market in its entirety? I think we can definitely say that building is no longer Dream Style West. It's interesting. I didn't even think about that. I mean, we're not carrying it. Don't we normally carry the yeah. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. All right. Keep them coming. 505-246-0610. Try to make them sane. Hello, Ken. Good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. What's good, Ken?
Hey, thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, to me, the Nunez thing is to be determined for me. I think the hire of the football coach was absolutely brilliant, so that's a good thing. I think before that, it was very questionable that he actually got New Mexico, our state, our university. For me, I know you have a different type of perspective because your relationship is different. But just as a fan and somebody that went to UNM, those type of things, it's still to be determined. That's why this hire for the football coach was incredible, I thought. Second, he has got to nail this. He has got to hit a home run with this hire, the basketball coach. It is everything for his legacy because we're talking about money, the budget, fans, everything. And I think that if Tim Miles was the guy, why wouldn't he have already hired him? I mean, that's encouraging to me because the longer this goes, that means that maybe some of the coaches that they're looking at are still coaching. And so that's a positive thing. So I'm ready to give Nunez a little bit of leeway as a fan because of the hire of the football program, which I thought was a home run. And if he does that again with the basketball program and 2-3 years down the road, we're competing for conference championships, absolutely. I think Nunez was a great, great hire. But if this was a dud hire and 2-3 years down the road we're still mediocre, the pit is half empty, then I don't know if Nunez was the right man for the job. But
fair enough.
So our perspective as fans and as the public is going to be different than yours. And so I think there's two sides of that coin completely. It's, we don't see the behind the scenes that you see, those type of things. So I appreciate it, guys.
It's a great call. It's a great call. So Ken's willing to give him a chance. And I tell you, look, everybody from here, and I think after 25 years, I'm from here at this point. But we all, I think, have to earn the respect, earn the trust. And Eddie's in that process still. He's earned mine. And there's a lot of people and a lot of New Mexicans, native New Mexicans, I know who he's earned theirs. Some people are slower, and that's fine. There is a benefit to knowing here,
John,
when you get here. I knew a little. My dad lived here, but JJ, I came in and I'm not from here. And like I said, I'd like to believe I've been good for this market, for this town. I've done good things, I hope. And I changed to New Mexico. I didn't ask New Mexico to change for me. Does that make sense? So you can be successful here and not have to be from here.
Yes, that is the key with anywhere you show up. If you're willing to invest, commit, enjoy, wherever you live, you can get it done. And there's not a one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to anything. You have to understand where your market is, what you're doing, and absolutely connect with the community. And you can connect with people, and you don't have to be a New Mexican. Because a lot of the names that we're talking about, right, are Lobos that came from somewhere else, but once they became a Lobo,
that's right,
they fell in love with the city, the state, and then the fans fell in love with them.
Yep, exactly right. John, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, John.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Awesome. I'm just calling in because I feel bad for Eddie here. A lot of people, it's kind of like, I'm a teacher. You guys know that. I'm a teacher. And I feel a lot of times people think that they're educational experts because they once went to school. And I'm feeling like people are saying the same thing with Eddie. Hey, I watch sports, so I'm this expert. I know what I'm talking about. And you may be very knowledgeable in the sport, but you don't know the whole thing that's going on in the back room and all the dealings that an athletic director has to go through. I feel sorry for Eddie in that respect because he's just not getting the respect he needs here. We need to sit back and trust him. As far as the interview with Mr. Williams this morning, I know a lot of people saying, well, that the end of the interview there sounded like Tim Miles. Yeah, it did, but you know well, earlier he was talking about waiting for people to see if people were going to get bought out, and along those lines, and that kind of sounded like the guy Frank Martin to me a little bit before that. So I think people are just reading in and hearing what they want to hear, and just Albuquerque negativity showing through there. And I think you just need to wait and see what happens. And even if it is Tim Miles, give him a chance. I mean,
that's right.
I'd be happy with anybody who's not Paul Weir at this point. So that's what I'm thinking.
Look, Tim Miles is a good guy, man. And thanks for the call, John. Tim Miles is a good guy. Here's the beauty, but more so the curse or the bad side of opinion forums, radio, internet, whatever. Everybody is an expert. And JJ, I've said this for years. Everybody is better at our job than we are. Everybody's a better coach than the coach. Everybody's a better AD than the AD. Everybody's a better bowl director than me. And that's the beauty of these forums. Everybody's got their opinion, and nobody's got the full picture. And you know, sometimes I feel dirty because we're the conduit for that. I get ripped all the time. Everybody knows how to run a bowl game and a radio talk show better than I do. All right. God bless.
Oh, you hear me when I talk about that during the break about you? I'm sorry.
Yeah. The weekend guys are better than we are, and these guys are better than we are. Everybody knows. Okay, go do your
Well, the
thing.
beauty is we can talk through it, have that discussion, and get various opinions.
Yeah.
If you think you know, you have no idea, but I'm gonna let you know. And what I'm gonna let you know about right now is F45. You know, if you're looking to release some of that tension, some of that anger. Well, let's work out together. Meet me at F45 Training. It's a mix of circuit and high-intensity training, 45-minute classes. Now, they will drop an hour class on you. If you go to Hollywood or North Hollywood, it's an hour workout. Usually get those on a Saturday. But if you're looking to kickstart your fitness or take it to another level, F45 is the place for you. It's a different circuit workout every day, so you're not going to get bored. They throw so many different things at you, from weights to body weight workouts to sleds to rowers to bikes, you name it, you're going to go through it at F45. And of course, there's a certified trainer with you at every single class to help you along the way. So it might be overwhelming when you hear circuit training, high intensity training. It's not. It is for all fitness levels, and I am loving it so far. They're located at 5920 Holly Northeast, so it's really good access from Paseo and I-25, wherever you're coming from in the city. And I like it too. They have monitors on the wall which help you keep track of the workout you're at, what station is going to be next. So check them out at f45training.com. Download the F45 app so you can sign up for your 7-day free trial and also look at the class schedule, because you have to book your class ahead of time so they can manage class sizes. Still about your health and safety, so they want you to feel comfortable when you're working out in this class atmosphere. They're open 7 days a week. I will be there tomorrow and Sunday morning. Hopefully I will see you there, but it helps if you're busy, you need to catch up, you want to get some workouts in on the weekend, you can do that at F45 Training. So check them out, f45training.com. Download the F45 app. Team training, life-changing. I'll see you at F45.
Moreno extra pass, and Watson. Out with it, Gallegos, and he's going to run all the way. Window, yes! Able to get out of it. How did he find Battle? It's to Cunningham, and it...
I mean, Ramos' hand.
Ramos puts it up, beats the buzzer!
Boy, Jefferson wide open.
Jefferson to Daraji! Into Watson with the jam!
Another steal by Domino Lovato, and here comes Agbaiosi. Lob, two-hand hammer. You knew that was coming. Well, the lob tag by Osi, the one-hand hammer.
Put up. And a drive from Palm. Second field goal, he's got 4 points. Watson, though, goes all the way.
Hit the deck, I should say. Cordova tried to throw it off Romero. A 3 for
Set out to Jutapia. Nice move behind his back. It's a good. Here's Ramos, step back, high arcing, 20!
But he needed to get his legs back under him.
Ooh, a little kick.
They leave it one more time to Hammer.
Look at this, they're not going to score again. Look at this.
Up top! Yes, and the finish for Akbayosi. Saved into the hands of Riak, ahead of the pack to Davina Lovato. Up high, down hard for Akbayosi. Out of the corner, Casals, the 3-0, Katenge! Let me clean up the mess! He dropped out of the rafters for that one, Steve.
Dorian over. Did he get in?
Yeah, they got in. He got in.
Touchdown, Dorian Lewis.
Seconds to play. Benavides looking, still looking up the middle. It's intercepted. It's picked off by Freddie Anaya, and Roswell's season will end perfect.
It's a hell of a hoe. What a hoe, says Lobo Hobo. Jeff, no OD in Vegas, hoe, but at least we still have the hoe. I get it.
Those are a little more like,
Come on, man. I'm always bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to excel. All right, Grady said more red meat, non-generalizers of the OD in the AM. I, too, want more red meat, but maybe not the kind others have expressed a desire for. I want to know what kind of administrator, what kind of CEO they are looking for. It's one of those dry details that not many people care about, but one that's oh so important. Fans want a guy that's good in the community, can fundraise, can recruit, has ties to the NBA, and can coach. Wow, nearly all coaches at the level Eddie and crew are reviewing, I'm sure, can coach. I'm sure they know X's and O's. That's not what separates the wheat from the chaff. It's how well a coach can manage all of the off-court outside obligations and still communicate his coaching philosophy to the players that will make a difference. The parking lots of both Branch Field and the Pit are littered with bodies of coaches that didn't have the management skills to match their X and O knowledge. That, by the way, is why a high school coach or an AAU only coach or a coach on the cheap will not work. I know I'm in the minority, but I'd love to hear about that piece of a candidate's resume. Prior records don't always matter the most, as most coaches can and do improve all of their skills as they gain real-world experience. Popping allergy pills on the regular, Grady and Santa Fe by way of the village. Look, they all can coach. Everybody you told me can coach a team. Everybody can coach a game. Who's going to run your program? If it's Tim Miles, look, you guys are going to like Tim Miles. Tim Miles is a nice guy. He's a good guy. You're going to like him until they go out and lose their first game. You're going to like him. Maybe you won't give him a chance. I don't know. I just hope for your sake and for the program's sake, whoever it is, you guys give him a chance. That's all. Because not all of you are going to get your guy. Maybe none. Maybe it's going to be some name that you never heard of. Huh? Maybe it's going to be the name that you're all saying. There's a real possibility. Give the guy a chance. But everybody's better than we are, man. Everybody's better. You're right. Everybody's a better teacher, a better coach, a better banker, a better radio host, I got it. Nobody's better at being Lance than Lance, though. Lance is the best Lance I've ever known. Hello, Lance. How you living?
Good morning. I called to make sure you got your hoe in, you know. I mean, so I've accomplished something for the day.
Yes,
you know, it's better to wait till the season's over to really, you know, pick your coach. Because, like the guy from Arkansas, that fellow that called in, he's on the right track. They rebuilt that program, man, really quick. And he knows everything Musselman does. And, you know, he's not going to talk to UNM or anybody right now. They could win a national championship. They're that good. So at least you could talk to people, you know, that are right now coaching. There's none of this. You don't have experience and all of these type of things going on. So maybe, sorry.
You all right?
Maybe they're waiting for that. And, two, you know, Edward, I mean, leave being, you know, the bad guy to me. I mean, you just don't have the skill set for it. You got torn up, and he's probably already texted you and apologized. So you stay over there with Brady, and I'll stay over here being the bad guy.
Lance, let's talk next week. We're at a show.
Everybody's point of view, and, yeah, of course I love the Lobo guy, you know, Michael Cooper and stuff, you know, but
hey, Lance,
it would be good for recruiting.
We're at a show.
From L.A. to here.
Got it.
You know, everybody knows.
All right, I got to go. Thanks to David Williams for being with us today. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowherd after that. More local sports talk with Trulio and Carlisle this afternoon on the Sports Bar. That starts at 4. Jay Pohl, great job. Have a great weekend out there. Watch everything they're doing on ProView. Micah, terrific work. Good to have you back. JJ, enjoy the weekend with the picture-in-picture.
Lobo Women's Soccer Mountain West Network. Home opener tomorrow night, Utah State, 6:30.
You calling that game?
Yes.
Beautiful. Do that. All right, be good to each other, please. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll talk to you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Wow. Later.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
That ball stolen. Jeremy Segura.
Forward dribble, spin cycle, up and under move. What a pass. Wrap around pass.
Harris, the Gates, the long bomb, 3 ball. Oh, great
steal by Quinteros, lays it up and scores.
A little jump step in the... And look out, here comes Agbayosi. Crawford set. That's blocked. Lansing says, get that out of here. Sister to sister, Marianne Lansing's going to go all the way. Turnaround. Ramos, pump fake, everyone bites. Ramos hits. Jackson loses it. Jalen Bond back, alley-oop, put it down. Dunkalicious, how about it?
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across